Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hi.
I got to make sure the sound's good since you messed it with it yesterday.
Yes, make sure. Hello. How's everybody doing? Okay, make sure. Hello.
Oh, we're good.
How's everybody doing? So, how was your Memorial Day, everybody? Because ours was wonderful. I got to spend, and I don't mean this like some throwaway line. Like literally, you all and this show, it was the best part of my day. It was kind of nice. I got home and nobody was home. All the boys were golfing with Joe. And I got to come home and take Murphy for a walk and then come home and pour over the lack of news.
Ugh.
The day after a 3-day weekend has got to be the worst day in the world for news. There's nothing going on. And so I tried for a while and then I was like, screw it. And I just started cooking dinner for the kids and it was a great night. It was a great day, but I really enjoy getting up and pouring over, and Brock can tell you how I get super stressed about it. Because there is no day to phone it in. There's no day to just take it easy. Oh, you don't have to work that hard, or nah, nobody cares. I care.
Well,
and he cares. And wait a minute, real fast. I want you guys to know, yesterday ended up being a giant day. So we got off the air. We had something like 35,000 views, which on a holiday Monday, the unofficial start to summer, I'm like, whoa, that's fantastic. And then we got 52,600 more views after that. We ended the day with like 90,000, 93,000 views. That's why we work when everybody doesn't. Because you never know who you're going to connect with. You never know who's going to stumble upon what you're doing and be like, hey, right? We're always about making connections with people. And thank you for being my connections. I'm sorry, Brock, what were you going to say?
No, you were saying about the news afterwards. We get stuck in the thing too. We feel like we're talking about the same things over and over again.
And I don't want it to be old. I don't want you guys to get stale, you know?
So, like, even with Iran, so they did strikes and defensive strikes, but it's like the story hasn't moved. The story is not that. The story, now they'll tell you on the mainstream media because they have video that they're just going to keep showing you. And every time they show it, they're going to go, Fox News alert, but the story hasn't moved forward. So we try to move a story forward, and sometimes it just isn't there. And you find different things, like the guy with the summer ban. Wendy knows what I'm talking about. It's just a different story, but it's super, super interesting. There's not much meat to it,
right?
But
so that's kind of today. There are ideas, but there's not a lot of meat on the bones. And so for me, as the one who has to fill the space, it's stressful. I don't want you guys to be like, yeah, I've already heard that. Or she said that all the time, And so we're very cognizant of that. Anyway, I just wanted to give you an inside baseball look at what's going on. Hello. And Sherry, thank you always for welcoming new people. If you are new, tell us where you're from. Join us and put something in the comments section.
Yeah, that's where we absolutely see it.
Did we hit 8 million podcast downloads?
No.
Okay.
They round up on their thing. I went into it.
Okay. We're very close.
Right there. So if you haven't downloaded the podcast, it's on all the podcast places out there. We're 40,000 away from 8 million.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I adore you guys, and I care passionately. You know what? The opening story gives me a little factory reset. It's easy to say you hate everyone, or you're angry at everything, or it's so frustrating. But the reality is the good stuff very rarely gets the oxygen that the bad stuff does.
And it shows the good that social media can do.
And yeah, we're going to talk about that. Anyway, I love being with you. And I mean it sincerely. That there's a reason why we hang in commercial breaks with you. Other hosts bounce off, do their own thing. I want to talk to you. I want to hear what's going on. I want to see your names. And Froggy, no more money today. Unless it's $1,000. I don't.
Wow. Or for me.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America, and greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program, your home for common sense conservative values. And I say it like a broken record. It's just not complicated, you know? It's not complicated to tell the truth. It's not complicated to do the right thing. It's not complicated to be a good person. And that is literally every single day what we strive to drill into everybody out there as we give you what we believe is the most important stuff of the day. Some of the things you know, some of the things you won't know. But you can always follow along and watch the live video stream of the entire 3 hours, wendybellradio.com. If you haven't gotten our podcast, I encourage you to. We're like 40,000 downloads away from 8 million podcast downloads. Do you guys know how outrageous that is? You know, we were here yesterday, Memorial Day. I hope you had a wonderful time. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else than right here with you. And I want to thank you for being a part of my family. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. I remember learning about the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. when I was a little girl. And it was always on my bucket list of things to do to go watch them bloom in the spring because the pictures were just magnificent. And on my 40th birthday, Joe took the boys and me to Washington, D.C. And you roll the dice, got to plan a trip. You book it. You have no idea what the weather is going to be like in DC. Is this the time it's going to bloom in late March? Is it going to be mid-April? What's it going to be? We literally went over my 40th birthday and they bloomed on that day. They were the most extraordinary sight I had seen in a long time. If you've not gone to Washington, D.C., during the springtime blooming of those cherry blossoms, my goodness. While we were there, we went to Arlington National Cemetery. I've been several times. I was lucky enough to go in the 8th grade on a class trip, and I was one of 2 students in the class who was selected to hold on to the wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns and place that wreath in front of that tomb. It has stayed with me ever since. It's interesting when you have little kids because the twins weren't yet 3. And we had the 5 boys. 10 down to 3. And you pull up at the cemetery and you literally have to like tram in. It's very big, beautiful. And I don't even think I had the opportunity to tell my kids how I expected them to behave. We told them where we were going. We told them what it was. And it was weird. It was like the minute we walked in through the turnstile, everybody just seemed to get it without being told. These are the greatest heroes in our country. And they died so that you could be here with us today. They didn't goof around. Bob and Chris weren't poking at each other. Stop! Right? It was like in those 2 hours, everybody got it. And I don't think anybody really said much. Well, something happened yesterday at Arlington National Cemetery that reminds me to not get caught up in the noise of the negativity that we see so commonly on social media. To not be frustrated by the things that tend to take the most oxygen and snuff out the good, sweet stuff in life. And it was something very simple when you think about it. It was a woman who wanted a little bit of help. And what she needed help with was visiting her husband's grave. He was buried at Arlington National Cemetery. She's from Arkansas. He died in 2007 in Iraq. And she merely asked if anybody out there is going to be at Arlington. And you could stop by my husband's grave. He's in section 60. If you could go and put your hand on it, maybe take a picture, I'd be grateful because I can't go this year. So this is how Newsweek tells this story. We're going to play some video here in just a second. A widow's Memorial Day appeal on social media prompted dozens of strangers, along with senior Trump administration officials, to pay tribute at the grave of her husband at Arlington National Cemetery. Cheryl Ann Shaw, whose husband, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Alan W. Shaw, was killed in Iraq in 2007. She asked users on X if anyone visiting Arlington over the holiday weekend would stop by his grave in section 60 and maybe share a video or a photo. It's probably a long shot, she wrote. But if anybody happens to be in D.C. this weekend and plans on visiting Arlington, I would love to see a fresh photo of my husband's grave in section 60. She had no idea what kind of response she would get. It spread in from across social media with users posting photos, depositing flowers at Staff Sergeant Shaw's grave, and tributes from the cemetery throughout Memorial Day weekend. Conservative influencer Nick Sorter, we've had him on the show multiple times, shared videos and photos from Arlington. He shared this photo or video we're showing you right now as he went to the grave and laid roses on it. And then he put out on X, man, did patriots step up, adding that dozens of people had visited the site. According to Nick, Tulsi Gabbard, right, outgoing director of national intelligence, left a challenge coin at the gravesite, which Nick said would be sent to the Shaw's family or to Shaw's family. Beautiful. The scale of the response was unexpected, with many ex-users sharing photos of Shaw's grave with messages for the family. Pete Hegseth and his family showed up. Here's a photo of it. Pete and his wife and his 4 children laying flowers on the grave. Tulsi Gabbard shared her own tribute. This man who died, who was Alan W. Shaw. He was born in November 1975 in Little Rock, joined the U.S. Marine Corps in 1998, was assigned to Camp Pendleton, California. He served time, honorably discharged 4 years later from the Marines. He proceeded to attend the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, married his wife, Cheryl, in 2003. And the next year, 2004, he joined the U.S. Army. So he was a Marine who then went to join the Army. And he didn't just serve one tour, he served two. And it was on his second tour in Iraq when he was killed during combat operations. He left behind his wife and his three children, Austin, Jordan, and Davin. They'd only been married 4 years. They had 3 kids. And he was killed. Writing about her husband on X, Shaw said he was the funniest person I've ever known, loud in the best way, the kind of man whose presence filled a room the second he walked into it. His laugh was always genuine, and people were naturally drawn to him. After all of these videos and photos and tributes poured into her one X request, if anybody happens to be there and you happen to be by section 60, can you find him? And let me know. She wrote this. Last night, I made a simple request on X. I asked if anybody visiting Arlington National Cemetery for Memorial Day would stop by Alan's grave and leave a photo for our family. Think about it. His kids never really knew him. What happened next honestly caught me off guard. By this afternoon, dozens of Americans from all walks of life had made the walk to Section 60 to visit Staff Sergeant Alan W. Shaw. Veterans, families, complete strangers, people who'd never met Alan but chose to honor him anyway. For one day on social media, people put aside the constant noise and the negativity and came together for something bigger than themselves. My notifications filled with photos and kind messages, prayers, and stories from people honoring not just Alan, but so many of our fallen heroes. I don't think people fully understand what moments like this mean to Gold Star families. The fear is never just losing them. It's losing them slowly over time as the world moves on and fewer people remember their name. But today showed me that Alan will never be forgotten. After watching years of watching social media reward some of the worst parts of humanity, today gave me a reminder that the good is still out there too. Thank you to every single person who stopped by to visit Alan today, said his name, shared his story, or took a moment to honor the fallen. This right here is the America Alan knew and loved enough to fight and die for. And today, y'all showed us that it's still here and it's still worth fighting for. That is the America I love. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, did you hear how Minneapolis's mayor, Jacob Fry, decided to celebrate the Memorial Day holiday? Oh, let's just go cold 180 from where we are right now. I'm going to pour cold water on your head, okay? Right after this on the Wendy Bell radio program. Okay. I know that you guys hear me talk about collagen. I know that you guys hear me say that of all the things, like the simplest things you could do, like most cost-effective, ridiculously easy things for you to do, that is phenomenal for your skin, right? As you get older, it's not just the crepiness. It's not just like the weird wrinkles that show up all of a sudden. You're like, what happened? What happened there? It's like this weird, like translucent, almost thinness to your skin as you get older. Collagen peptides, woo boy, are they great for that. It's great for your bones, for your joints, for your skin, for your hair and your nails, and your digestion. And because I started to cry, I can't see a damn thing. So sourced from happy, healthy, pasture-raised cows, our blend of pure collagen peptides includes types 1 and 3 collagen to deliver the most pure, potent, and highly absorbable form for rapid results. This is what it is. And it says, how do you use these? I mean, it's up to 45% off for the Wendy Bell radio family, by the way, which is just ridiculous. And it says all you have to do, mixes easily with hot or cold liquids, dissolves clump-free with stirring, Literally, that's it. And they say, you know what? You got to give it a couple months. And the good news is when you get this, get nativepath.com/Wendy, you get a jar like this that will last you a couple months. Drink one of these. Put a scoop in your water, put a scoop in your coffee, do it every single day, be consistent, and then watch what happens to your body, to your gut, to your skin, and to your hair. I'm just going to tell you. Game changer, won't go without it. Get nativepath.com/Wendy. And their materials on their website, it's about the most educational and not boring scientific stuff I've read in a long time. Get nativepath.com/Wendy. It is just a very simple thing you can do to keep everything moving along as you get older. I love it. Not going to quit anytime soon. Thank you if you're helping me with that journey. I appreciate you. I mean, what she said, I had to search for her. I mean, it took like no time, but I hadn't seen anybody go back and like get Cheryl Ann Shaw's response. They're Mormon. At least he was. He was one of 10 children. I read his obituary. Like, I don't know. I just don't want the headline. I certainly don't know much about this man at all. But reading his obituary, man, was he loved. Think about that. You join the Marines, you leave the Marines honorably, then you join the Army, and you go. I mean, like, that's special. That's special. Thank you for sharing him with us, Cheryl Ann. Thank you. Jacob Fry just pooed all over you, okay? Minneapolis's mayor decided to use Memorial Day not to talk about the people who didn't come home. And, you know, we don't know them all, but we owe them all. That's not how he felt yesterday. Jacob Fry, Minneapolis mayor, decided he was going to remember George Floyd on Memorial Day. You know, that fine American patriot, the guy who went and sacrificed his whole life for the betterment of everybody. Oh, that's right. No, he wasn't. He was a drug addict. He was a drug addict and a criminal and a thug. And he died because he made a million bad decisions. And they all kind of went on one day with that elixir of drugs that was pulsing through his body. And as much as the left has tried to tell us that it's all about cops, it was a white cop that killed him, it's all about racism, cops suck. Really? Really? Jacob, you limp-wristed jerk of a human being, right? I don't even have to tell you what the guy said, but everybody and his brother who saw Jacob Fry put a picture of himself. It wasn't a flag. It wasn't a gold star. It wasn't an eagle. It wasn't like Love America. It was a picture of him wearing a mask, taking a knee by George Floyd's casket. That is your mayor of Minneapolis. And you got to love Rob Finnerty over at Newsmax because he was like, brother, you are such an absolute idiot and so off base here, babe. I want you to hear how his face almost melted off last night on his show.
These days are always so challenging and tough for Democrats. Whenever there is patriotism involved, nobody said this. I was thinking about it all day. They seem to have more and more trouble with this every single year. Days where there's love for country involved, which is why the left are now trying to turn Memorial Day into a day to remember St. George Floyd. Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, tweeting this today on Memorial Day, quote, "Today, we remember George Floyd, who was murdered by a former Minneapolis police officer 6 years ago." Actually, Jake, no, we definitely do not. We don't care about George Floyd. We have no interest in honoring a drug addict who violently resisted arrest for more than 10 minutes, just minutes after allegedly committing a crime himself. These are the facts of the case. Today, we don't honor George Floyd. In fact, today, we don't even think about George Floyd. Today, We honor the people who gave their lives so that George Floyd could get high on fentanyl and crystal meth that day and then try to pass a fake $20 bill. And then to avoid getting arrested, he resisted arrest violently for almost 10 minutes because George Floyd is not an American hero. And it doesn't matter how many murals they put up of George Floyd or how many statues. There's nothing heroic about George Floyd. This was not a good person. Because today is not about him, it's about this right here. Did you see this? A soldier standing at post in the pouring rain at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Washington. While Kamala was enjoying her long weekend in Malibu, she and Dougie just bought an $8 million house out there. This is what this weekend is really all about. And something tells me that that soldier right there was not high on fentanyl like George Floyd. But Democrats just can't seem to deal with anything that has anything to do with patriotism because that's too offensive to them now. And they think they're going to win in November. They're not.
I couldn't agree more with you. Today, we remember George Floyd, Fry wrote on X, who was murdered by a former Minneapolis police officer 6 years ago. That moment changed our city forever. In subsequent posts, he wrote that the death of Floyd forced the city to, quote, confront painful truths about race, policing, inequity, and trust. No, you know what, Jake? You know what it told us about? It told us about drug addiction and rampant lawlessness and Democrats who refuse to enforce any kind of order and what it's like to live in a blue hellscape. That, Jake, that's what we got. That's what we saw. The man that Al Sharpton had to accompany on a private jet to 4 different freaking funerals in a golden casket. George Floyd, whose face is all over these toxic blue cities. George Floyd, who some ne'er-do-well nincompoop artist decided to make a giant fro pick for as some symbol of art. That is the guy whose eggs you're going to put in the basket. Okay, Jake, this is the difference between crazy and loving America. Yesterday was about nothing other than Americans coming together in their own way, with family, neighbors, doing things that they enjoy doing because people, more than 1 million of them, died that we had that privilege so we could do what we want. That is the biggest egg laid yesterday, and I'm not surprised. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. All gas to the finish, Texas. It's the Lone Star Showdown, the big Senate runoff race. How's it looking? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Rob's right. He looked like he wanted to jump through the screen and go strangle Jacob Fry. What a little wuss. What a little willow, a little weakling. I'm glad I censored myself because I was going to call him a naughty word. I would have gotten in trouble for that one.
I'd have got you.
Oh, you would have, yes, you would have had me covered, which is why I appreciate you more than you know. All right. Who do we want to talk about? Bloodflow7.com. So I'm just going to say there's a product, the Triple X. You have it in there? So on workout days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm supposed to take 6 of these capsules. Okay, 6. And you're like, that's a lot. So it's called Nitro XXXL. All right. So I've started using this because they sent it to us. Our friends at Juvenon, bloodflow7.com. I'm just going to tell you, if you have not yet taken my advice and bought a jar of this, Bloodflow 7 of the Triple XL, you are missing out on remembering what your actual full potential is all about because you do things that you just don't think you can.
If you don't like the capsules, they have the powder too, which is fantastic.
Is that right? Is it
Yes.
something you just dissolve again in some kind of
Yeah,
liquid?
that's what I used to drink.
Instead of the capsule.
Instead of
you
the
would do a
caps-
scoop of it in your
Yes.
drink. Ooh, I'll have to get on that. I'm just telling you, if bloodflow7.com makes it, sells it, offers it, you should buy it because I just have been absolutely blown away by this company. I'm physical proof of it, right? 56 years old, you know, everything about my biological clock, about the pages of the calendar turning would indicate, it's time to slow down. Don't work too hard. Ooh, don't push it. And instead, I'm like, let's go. If you've lost your, let's go. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Everything there is 30% off. Everything there is ridiculously affordable. With 30% off, you're going to love this. So look, you're just like I am. And you're like, I can't go for that hike I used to, but I'm so tired. No. Get on this for it took me 48 hours. And then I was like, what? It might take you a week, 2 weeks. It'll hit you and it'll change everything. It opens up your blood vessels so more blood can flow through your body. That's the secret sauce, nitric oxide. That's it. Nothing controversial about it, nothing dangerous, nothing pharmaceutical. It is bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Love you guys. Jacob Fry, what a tool. I love that Tulsi went. I love that Pete went. I love that Nick went, and dozens of other total strangers. Nobody looking for anything. I mean, honest to God, Nick's order went to oblige a gold star widow. Like, what could be a more fitting act of thanks than to listen to a widow who just needed somebody to help her out? I mean, it was the sweetest story. I was like, I know it's a shocker. I started to get that way. Let's see how you guys are doing. What's going on out there?
I don't know if you saw the Democrats almost be as bad as Jacob Fry.
Uh-oh.
They put up a post of the 13 service members that were lost in Iran. And they put, this Memorial Day, we remember the 13 members lost in Trump's war with Iran. They got...
That's disgusting.
They ended up taking it down. It was so bad.
Using that as a political tool is just gross. Yeah, just gross. I love today's thumbnail. I love that you guys already have 1.4 thousand rumbles. Thank you. All right, legitimately, if you have, is anybody in Texas? How are you guys feeling?
I made a second thumbnail, but I didn't show it to you.
Oh, what is it?
I don't know if I saved it.
Well, then why are you telling me about it?
Oh.
Right? Am I right? I'm right, right? Let's see. I want to ask you guys a question. Tell me, did anybody do anything unusual yesterday? Did you do something unusual with your children or your grandchildren to celebrate the day? I'd love you to share it with me in the comments. And not because I'm trying to point whore, but because truly I'm interested in what you did. And I want to read them. Sort by newest. 125 comments already, you guys. Hey, Oregon. Rumble seat. Hi.
This was the second one I made, but I thought it was kind of corny.
Hard Knock News. I've been on XXX Blood Flow 7 and it's not doing a thing for you. What? How long have you been on it? Lone Star Stent. Oh.
I thought it looked corny.
Yeah, I don't think that we're trying to make fun or anything. Yeah, I agree with you. A little dippy. And it's very monochromatic. Not doing a thing for you. I'm very upset about that. Jacob Fry is an asshole. You're right. True Texas conservative voters were going to vote for Paxton regardless of the president's endorsement. 100%. But I think that underscores what's at play here. And everybody wants to say it's all Trump all the time. He guides the Republican. I think a lot of people know what's going on. So even the Washington Times is saying Trump's endorsement. song. Like, you got to get to that chorus, right? So welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. For those of you who spent part of your Memorial Day with us yesterday here on the air, it was great to be with you. Thank you very much for that, and welcome today. You know, voters in Texas head to the polls today to bring an end to one of the costliest, one of the nastiest Senate Republican primaries in Lone Star State history. The runoff concludes days after President Trump tipped the race with his endorsement of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, a MAGA warrior with a solid conservative track record. Is that really what it is? You think Texas wouldn't have shown up for Ken Paxton without President Trump saying something? Because I don't think so. I don't think President Trump hurts ever. But it's interesting to see what's going on in Texas. And then you think, and we'll talk about this about the halfway mark in today's program. We talk about what Spencer Pratt is doing, surging in the LA mayoral race and not identifying his politics. He's certainly not a Democrat, but he's not coming out and being like, hey, I'm a MAGA Republican and President Trump likes me. And he's like, no, see, this is bigger than politics. This is about all of the people of Los Angeles. I want to represent all people, not some initials after my name, everybody. And I appreciate that. We're going to chew on that coming up. So this runoff concludes days after President Trump obviously did his endorsement. A poll taken in the days immediately after Mr. Trump's May 19th nod, Mr. Paxton, suggests voters are ready to send four-term incumbent Senator John Cornyn packing. Well, why wouldn't they? Really? You know, why wouldn't you? What we're seeing here, and I think that as we illustrated yesterday, and I have many times, if COVID was my wake-up call, if that was my epiphany to see that, one, I really wasn't as plugged into what was going on as I should have been, and that, two, there were a lot of things going on in the Republican Party that I disagreed with, which is more aggravating than knowing always that the Democrats are going to do what you don't want them to do. They're going to do a Jacob Fry thing. I'm going to post a photo of George Floyd and not of an American tombstone, right? Or a grave site. That's what they do. I think you've got a lot of people in this country who are super exhausted with the whole fake Republican nonsense. These people who pretend because they put a lapel pin on that's an American flag, right? And they stand and they take some votes that are necessary, but the big things that matter, like the Save America Act, they don't push. How do you have control of the Senate? How do the Republican Party, how do they have control of the Senate, but not control of the senators? How does that work? Because there are some people there who know that if photo identification and proof of citizenship was mandatory, that they likely wouldn't be reelected. They wouldn't be in office much longer. And so they drag their feet. John Thune thought he was going to be able to use the Save America Act as some kind of leverage over this president to force the president to endorse John Cornyn. And yet this president knows John Thune has no intention of moving on the Save America Act. That's the next story that's going to have to drop. It's going to have to be his removal as a Senate Majority Leader. Find somebody who's going to get it to go. Wouldn't it be a kick in the stones for everybody if Ken Paxton wins this whole Senate thing in Texas and then he's named the Majority Leader? I would laugh out loud if you had a true MAGA warrior who's 100%. Ken Paxton's been with President Trump since 2020. Probably even before that, when he was like, look, that was so obviously bogus, that election. So bogus. John Cornyn's like, nope, I'm going to vote to certify it. John Cornyn, what else did he do? He did everything he ought not to have done. And I'm reminded of this. Ken Paxton said he would drop out of the Senate race. He would drop out if senators stepped up and they passed the Save America Act. He gave them an off-road. He said, here's the detour. Do what 84% of America wants you to do. It's common freaking sense. Afghanistan, you've got to show proof of who you are, but not the United States. Oh, black people don't know how to get identification. That's right. Ken Paxton's like, look, I'll step aside. You just got to get it done. They couldn't get it done. So he's like, all right, screw you. I'm going to ride this horse all the way to Washington, D.C. President Trump putting out this truth this morning. Texas, remember, Ken Paxton was a great attorney general, probably the best in the country. He was also very loyal to your favorite president, me. As the Democrats played their ultimate game of weaponization and failed badly. I love Texas, and I won it all 3 times, getting by far the highest vote in the history of that great and beautiful state. Ken's opponent is very disloyal to me. That's Cornyn. As president, he did not fight hard enough for the desperately needed Save America Act, voter ID, proof of citizenship, no mail-in ballots with exceptions for military illness, disability, or travel. What more needs to be said? Vote for Ken Paxton on Tuesday. He will never let you down. Well, today is that day. And we should say whomever wins is going to face the Democrat nutcase, James Tallarico. He is a dangerous option. He proves how desperate the Democrats are to resist Trump, to put their eggs in his basket. What? So there's this ad that comes out overnight. I saw it and I'm like, who put together this ad? Well, it's from Lone Star Liberty PAC. And it's literally just a blistering rebuke of James Tallarico. This is who Ken Paxton, God willing, will face in November.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
God is non-binary. There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6. It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption. The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us. Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity. Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. No need to sit and cry over, your whiteness or your masculinity. They're gonna call me a radical leftist.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
Low T Tallarico, too weak for Texas. Lone Star Liberty PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
I mean, think about it. How different is James Tallarico than Jacob Fry? It's like there's this cookie cutter mold, and we're going to get the most emasculated white guy who's going to beat the drum of, white supremacy and all of this nonsense to appeal to whom? The radical progressive wing of the Democratic Party? Is that what the Democrats really want? Do they really want Graham Plattner? Do they really want James Tallarico? Do you really want these people to be the face of your party? Because I'll tell you right now, I'll give money to any ad campaign that will highlight the feckless disregard the Democrat Party has for anything that's even remotely reasonable or common sense in this country. I had to laugh that Cory Booker is thinking about running for president in 2028. Are you out of your mind? Your own party can't stand you. He's up there with Hakeem Jeffries, Tom Tillis. Meantime, back in Rhino land, it's like the crying game. Every rhino is seeing the writing on the wall. Hey, Tom Barrasso, we got our eyes on you. Tom Emmer, you're up there too. Steve Scalise. I know a lot of people are like, he's really a good guy. I don't think so. I think what you have right now is a Republican Party that is 20 years ahead of the Democratic Party. And we've put it out there and said, we want better. We want patriotism. We want honesty. We want fiscal responsibility. We want law and order. We want schools that don't suck. We want neighborhoods that are safe. This is not difficult. And if you're not for us, that means you're against us, and we will work to get rid of you. And this grassroots effort that's attracted people all across the fruited plain to join in is absolutely stunning people like Tom Tillis. Now, he said he was going to leave, he was going to retire, resign, whatever, at the end of this year. So North Carolina gets a new shot. But I want you to hear with Jake Tapper, this is Tom Tillis, outgoing senator, on his way out the door, takes a dig at Ken Paxton in Texas and says he's not worthy of the Senate. And I'm like, really? Because I'm looking at your track record, bro, and it sucks. Here's Tom with an H.
You know what I try to tell everybody, folks, if you're not running for re-election, then that one filter that you need to make sure your words are measured so that the Democrats can't use it against you and maybe some Republicans, you've just got to have that extra filter. And I'm telling you, it's great not having it so that you can get the same point across, but now you can use unambiguous words. And I'm being unambiguous on Paxton. He is a failure. He doesn't deserve to be in the U.S. Senate. And John Cornyn is one of the most powerful, one of the most influential, one of the most patriotic members I've had the privilege to serve with over the last 11 years.
Didn't that tell you everything right there? Stay the hell away from John Cornyn. Tom Tillis, by the way, voted against President Trump's one big beautiful bill. He wanted to keep the 60-vote filibuster. He's criticized Trump's moves on Iran. He slammed the so-called $1.8 billion weaponization fund. He's blamed Republicans for the DHS shutdown. He blocked Trump's nomination of Kevin Warsh as Fed chair. And then he announced he wouldn't run for re-election after Trump called him a rhino and said he would not endorse him. And Tom Tillis saw the writing on the wall. At least he was smarter than John Cornyn, who thinks he's, I guess, protected. So speaking of rhinos on their way out, Thomas Massie still doesn't get it. You know, the once popular Republican, he got beaten by 10 points. He came in last in his primary, and yet he's reading the tea leaves thusly. I should totally run again in 28, maybe as president. What? What part of this are you people not getting in Rhino Land? We're tired of your failures. We're tired of you not listening to us. We're tired of all of it. So pack your bags and see you later. And best wishes. Bye-bye. When we come back, let's talk about Cory Booker. He fancies himself presidential material. I mean, why not keep failing upwards, Cory, huh? Oh boy, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. What a tool.
What was with Tillis's thing around his neck?
His bolo?
It looks like someone bedazzled a...
Well, I called Jack and I said, could you do something in like turquoise and maybe some semi-precious beads and stones? Well, you bedazzled stuff for me before, by the way.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
What?
You made me wreaths. He's very handy. He made me.
The one was a Christmas. That wasn't bedazzled.
I know, but it's a figure of speech. He got those old school big glass colored light bulbs for the Christmas tree, like big, like for fences and whatnot. And he glued them and they all lit up. And he glued them in this beautiful wreath that when our basement flooded, the construction people munched. So I had it for at least one season. It was beautiful, though. I really liked it.
40 hours.
It was a lot, right? It was almost as long as it took me to edit my first video. Tulip Blooms, tulipblooms.shop. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. One of the things that I really like, and I know that the buy one, get one 50% off rainfall is now over. But I do want to say this about this particular brand of Tulip Blooms. It's their lotion. What I like about it, especially after you've been out in the sun. So you go out in the sun, you don't want to lather your skin with something super gloppy. So it's almost, it just kind of like disappears when you put it in your hand, and the heat of your hand warms it up and makes it kind of liquidy. And then literally it goes in, it's not greasy. I will say this because it's true. It helps me not peel after I get too much sun, and it absorbs beautifully, and you stay moisturized all day long. It's just the most beautiful. And the smell, which one do I have? I have the face and the body lotion, Rainfall face and body lotion. This is rose geranium. Rose geranium. Yes. So the essential oils of rose and geranium are infused in this lotion. And it goes on and it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel thick. It doesn't feel greasy. It disappears on you. And you're like, I love this. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. You get 10% off, right? I love these products. I use them every single day. And I hope they stay with us for as long as possible because the products are truly special. Truly, truly special. If you've never splurged on really quality skincare, there's a lot of money out there that it's expensive to buy some of these things. This is not on the highest end of the spectrum. This is a reasonable cost, probably more than you normally spend for the lotion you get at CVS, but not much. Not much. So tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. And it's, you know what I also like about it? It's a hint of a fragrance. So you don't walk into a room and everyone's like, ooh. You smell it. It just smells fresh. And I love it very much. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. Thank you for those of you who have already supported us and gotten stuff. By the way.
Nope. 10 seconds.
I love Ron Johnson. I love Ron Johnson. Okay, so Cory Booker apparently has not been paying attention. Nobody cares about you, Cory. Sorry, bro, but it's true. He's making a play to appeal to health-conscious voters. See, this is interesting. I like real people. Even if I disagree with you, your platform, if you are real, if you stand by what you believe in, and it's not to curry votes, it's not to raise money, you're not selling out your personal beliefs to get somewhere. I like you. Again, irrespective of your views. I have respect for people who believe what they believe and stand by what they believe. Cory Booker twists in the wind, right? And he has glommed onto some of the Make America Healthy Again initiatives that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has supported as our Health and Human Services Secretary. And you can tell that Cory is trying to get some of these health-conscious voters who liked RFK as a presidential candidate. He's trying to get them into his camp, possibly to support him for a run for president. And in fact, Axios, I'm not making this up, Axios, if you believe them, has an article about this. And the title is Booker's Maha Play. Many Democrats hate Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Why? He's a Democrat. What, you don't like him because he took a job with the Trump administration to make a difference, to realize one of his finest dreams ever, to check something off of his bucket list, to leave America healthier than how he found it? New Jersey Senator Cory Booker told Axios he absolutely supports some of the controversial HHS secretary's policies, particularly when it comes to food. Booker likes Kennedy's increased testing of infant formula for microplastics and other materials, pushing for less ultra-processed food, and his pilot program to have schools serve more healthful meals. Who wouldn't get on board that, right? Then he says this. He talks about vaccines, right? He worries, though, that this Bobby Kennedy is too anti-vaccine. Bobby Kennedy isn't anti-vaccine. He's anti-mandatory vaccines that end up hurting you or killing you. I mean, like, if we're just going to tell the truth, that's what he is against, which is very interesting. So it's going to be hard for him because Kennedy, many Democrats are wary of MAHA because of the movement's vaccine skepticism. Booker is betting that some MAHA voters can be won back to the Democratic Party without talking about vaccines. No, see, you can't put the genie back in the bottle, bro. You can't do that. Here's Senator Ron Johnson. This guy's been more dogged from Wisconsin. He's been more dogged on the whole vaccine injury, the VAERS database that we covered for you ad nauseum during COVID, the vaccine adverse event reporting system, which we know and told you reports an infinitesimal number of problems people had with vaccines. So, Cory Booker, if you want to ride the Maha train, but you don't want to really get into the whole vaccine thing, you're going to be losing. Here's Ron Johnson.
Jackie, this is the most egregious government scandal in my lifetime. On March 1st, Peter Marks, the head of the division within FDA that approves vaccines and then surveils the safety, was briefed that the algorithm they're using to analyze VAERS was going to completely mask and hide safety signals. 26 days later, he was shown 25 adverse events where there were, safety signals, including sudden cardiac death, pulmonary infarction, Bell's palsy, different types of strokes, and he hid it. They are lying about it to this day. They continued to use the old algorithm. They knew would hide it, and then they went and lied to the American public. So, again, the hundreds of thousands of people that experienced adverse events, the tens of thousands that died on VAERS, reported on VAERS, associated with that vaccine. These people ought to have a cause of action against those government officials that hid what the American people had a right to know.
Yeah.
But they lied bald-faced to the American public. And unfortunately, I appreciate Fox covering this. Not one major network has picked up the story. This has been 3 weeks now. Like I said, the biggest government scandal in my lifetime, and mum's the word because everybody was complicit in it.
I mean, 1,223 people died during the first 90 days. The jab was being plunged into people's arms. The majority within 1 to 2 days of receiving the shot. And yet we have an apparatus in this country that refuses to tell the truth about that. How is that okay? How is it okay? How do you then go to your pediatrician and agree to have your newborn get 4 shots in their thighs in one visit? Now the wheels are turning in your mind, except not in the Democrats' mind. And Cory Booker, he's like, yeah, I'm going to run for president probably in 28. I'm going to try to get some of Bobby Kennedy's supporters over to my side. We just won't talk about vaccines. See, that's not authentic, Cory. That's called being a scumbag. And that puts you on par with John Cornyn and Tom Tillis and all those people. So you're kind of equal now. Congratulations. I will not be voting for you ever. When we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, let's dig into, oh my goodness, where is it? Did you hear the big news? J.D. Vance apparently does not want to be president after Trump. Really? Next. I saw this story and I was like, what?
I saw something on Twitter. Can we go back to Ron Johnson real quick?
Yeah.
I think his name was Dr. Artis. You guys would probably know. I think that's his name. He was saying that he thinks Brian or Dr. Brian Artis or something like that. He was saying his thoughts were the reason they said you weren't fully vaccinated was till you got the second jab 2 weeks later is because most adverse reactions to vaccines happen between day 5 and day 14. So they were considered COVID deaths then, which I thought was extremely interesting. No? Bueller?
So Brian Ardis, Dr. Brian, B-R-Y, Ardis, A-R-D-I-S, claims to be a doctor, describes himself as a fearless truth teller, author of the book COVID Lies. So he said that the whole reason why they tried to get you boosted the next week is so that when you died, that it would be considered a COVID death and not a vaccine death?
They said, you weren't fully vaccinated until the second one 14 days later.
Anybody who was for emergency mandates, who was for the government telling you what to do, should never be allowed back anywhere near a lever of power, period. I'm sorry, Cory, that disqualifies you, you big bozo. I hate everyone. I really don't, but kind of I do. Right? Except not my friends at Texas Bullion Exchange. Wendy loves gold. WendyLovesGold.com. So you've seen my cute little Donald Trump. Oops, there he is. Donald Trump. Silver coin. You can see his face. I have one that is a limited edition, literally a collector's item. And I've shown it to you. It's the one that's in black, and it's his face. And
What's that? What's that called? Not palladium.
No. I forget what it was called. I have it in my safety deposit box. I don't remember. Rats. But anyway. Obsidian. Thank you. The obsidian coin set. It's just beautiful. I don't think you can get it anymore because I think they sell out. But they have such beautiful things here. For instance, for Christmas, you get the little gingerbread guy. You get the reindeer guy. You get, how about the eagle? Silver eagle is always beautiful. These 1 ounce coins, absolutely magnificent. And then Trump, they're constantly putting out new things for you to enjoy, to collect. Some people like to collect stamps. Some people like cookie cutters. Some people collect measuring spoons. I'm just going to collect gold and silver. I mean, like, why not? So if you have gold or silver that you're not using,
send it to
P.O. Box 86033, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15221. I'll be happy to take it off your hands because I am now an avid collector. Once you get your first coin or bar or brick or what have you of precious metals from Texas Bullion Exchange, you're addicted. It's a smart thing to do. Diversify your portfolio. Don't have everything in the stock market because if that goes kablooey, you're screwed. And the value of precious metals, it's always going up. Always going up. And my friends at Wendy Loves Gold, 855-927-5557. Literally write that down because you're going to be like, what did she say that number was? 855-927-5557. Ask about their principal protection program. And basically what they say is whatever money you spend on gold and silver, platinum and palladium, if you end up wanting to sell your metals back to Texas Bullion Exchange, you'll never make back. And let's just say the price drops, right? And you're like, ugh, you'll never get less money than you paid for it. I think that's a pretty solid promise. Like, I don't know anybody else who's like, oh yeah, and you'll never lose money with us. What? And then if you get a portfolio, that's the principal protected program, right? They're going to give you 6% of free silver. That's a pretty good deal. Ask them about it. Ask them about it. WendyLovesGold.com. WendyLovesGold.com. Indeed, I do. I'm just telling you, it is, I'm tempted to come over there and give you a splash of the rainfall. I think you're going to very much like it.
Well, before you do that, I want to prove that I did not bedazzle it. See, all it was Christmas bulbs.
Look at Sinatra in the middle.
Yeah, well, he photobombs everything.
So he was making one for your grandmother-in-law?
Yes,
is that right? And your mother-in-law.
That was one of them for Christmas.
Show him the, do you have one of the flowers that you made me? Mm-hmm.
No.
Very crafty, very like attentive to detail, and beautiful. And you don't really think about making a wreath like that.
I saw a picture.
No, you do. But you think in advance about what you want to give people for Christmas or what have you. And that he made me one. I was like, that was so, and then.
Yeah, then you ruined it. Ruiner.
Because you know that's what I do.
40 hours.
Right? And then you got to use one of those glue guns, which beats the liver out of your fingers. Yeah. Right?
Well, I did a lot of wiring on that. So.
Yeah, I usually just give people money. I'm like, here's your holiday bonus.
What? You do? What?
Here's your holiday bonus. Don't you dare. We need 250 people to get to 2,000 rumbles. This would be cataclysmic. It's been a long time. Do you guys remember the good old days when we did 9 to noon and we'd have like 9,000, 10,000 people watching live? I personally think it's an algorithm thing. I really do. I don't think it's real. Oh, shush. You know what? I can make your life very unaffordable if you wish. If you want to play. If you want to create the illusion, that I am not a benevolent buddy.
What, you don't hurt yourself?
Oh, Really?
Wow.
Really? Okay. Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. IrelandContracting.com. You guys, I'll tell you more about it coming up. He gabbed too much. I'm sorry.
You were telling him how great you were for some Christmas.
Certainly
bonus.
wasn't. Certainly was not.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, I'm thinking about our bench for 2028. I know it seems like it's a long way away, but we got some great options. You know, if I was not either JD Vance or Marco Rubio, I'm not so sure I'm really looking at 2028 thinking this is my time. It was like Ron DeSantis in 2020 running against Donald Trump. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? Or was it 2024? Whatever it was. And I'm like, this is not your time. This is President Trump's redemption tour. Of all times not to get into a race, it's in 2024 leading into right? I was like, it made no sense to me. But we got people already in those two men. Now, you obviously presume JD Vance being vice president, he's going to be the heir apparent. But that's not President Trump's decision. That's your decision. That's MAGA's decision. MAGA will make, and that moniker, Making America Great Again. I don't think that the Democrats who mock us and who want to call us extreme MAGA Republican, I don't think they understand the seriousness of that idea of making America great again. So you can besmirch us all you want. You can ridicule, you can throw stones, you can pretend like we're some kind of weird fringe group. We're a group of people who love America and want her back, right? We've watched what you all have done for the last 20, 30 years. Nothing's gotten better. You guys are all yuckity-yuck buddies at the end of the day. If I am a MAGA Republican and I will vote for what is best for America, for all of America, not just for Republicans, all of America, right? I'm not going to be buddy with you if you believe in socialism, communism, progressivism, wackoism, whatever it is that you're into. I'm not really seeing how we're going to coalesce here, right? And yet they're all buds. Oh, I work across the aisle. Well, you know, there's some things that have to happen that way, but some things are a firm no. I'm not negotiating. No. And so now there's this article that comes out. They're, I guess, scared of JD Vance. I guess the Daily Mail, of all places, thedailymail.com, has an article that caught my attention last night right before I started making dinner. And I sat down and I read it multiple times. Now, look, I am a former journalist. This is not journalism what I do. I have an opinion and I share it with you. And I don't... You know, I don't work for anybody. I'm not beholden to anybody. I share it with you from a mom's perspective, from a conservative woman's perspective, how I feel about and love America. So when I read articles like this, I'm like, this is the most failed piece of quote unquote journalism I've seen in a long time. And you have to then go up to 30,000 feet and be like, what's the intended reason that this article is coming out? Well, I guess they don't want you guys liking JD Vance for whatever reason. And I want to read this to you, dailymail.com. This is a headline, all right? Tell me if you think any of this is true. J.D. Vance plans bold 2028 option after loyal Tulsi Gabbard's exit as insiders deliver shocking verdict on VP's future. He's loud, he's active. I have no idea what that means. I'm like, what? He's going to plan bold 2028. What's the 2028 option? We would presume the bold one is to become president, right? So let's read what this article is all about. Then you can, I'm interested in your thoughts on this because I counted how many times this particular article gives you absolutely no specificity about who's talking. All right, here we go. JD, and that's rule number 1, journalism 101. You don't say stuff that other people say without saying who said it. That's called attribution. You're going to say a quote, got to say who said it. I'm just going to make this up. That's not journalism. That's fake news. Here we go. J.D. Vance, now the lone dove in Donald Trump's cabinet after Tulsi Gabbard's resignation, has been left more isolated than ever and is even considering abandoning a run for the presidency in 2028. Multiple sources tell the Daily Mail. So I don't understand. Lone dove, Donald Trump's cabinet after Tulsi's leaving. So Tulsi's leaving because apparently her husband is fighting some kind of bone cancer. And so she's going to be by his side, she says. And so this Daily Mail article says, no, he's not. Maybe you want to be president. Really? The whispers racing through the West Wing find common ground. Apparently, Tulsi and JD are united in their views on Iran. Vance's most senior non-interventionist ally is gone. And even as he expressed his sorrow for the exit of his dear friend on Friday, insiders told the Daily Mail that his own future is at the front of his mind while his rivals sharpen their blades. Quote, Vance is a non-event in the West Wing, a source close to the president told Daily Mail. Is that really the case? Haven't you seen him all over the place? Hasn't he been all over fighting fraud? I've seen his face all over the place. And he's apparently a non-event, this source says. Vance's isolation comes at a moment when Marco Rubio's stock inside the West Wing has never been higher, with the Secretary of State helping to plan an invasion of Cuba, while the vice president flails in peace negotiations with Iran. I don't know. Is that the vibe you guys have picked up watching any of this? I've watched Marco Rubio. I mean, he has a different job than J.D. Vance does. I mean, by and large, the VP role has been largely ceremonial, but this president has done an awful lot to give J.D. A seat at the table and some jobs to do. And J.D.'s obviously very capable. So he's isolated. Marco Rubio's, I guess, his political star is rising, but not so much with Vance. Let's continue. The vice president's dovish brand of foreign policy has set him on a collision course with Trump, the sources say. The rift deepening as Trump embraces his wartime leader image. Do you guys you get that? You get that vibe that he's a war, that this is his image, the wartime leader. He just wants things to end. That's what I get. He wants wars to stop. Let's stop killing each other. Can we do that? Right? The president has made it very clear in recent months that he doesn't abide by his strong, silent, Gary Cooper style approach to foreign policy. Speaking of Vance, a White House insider told the Daily Mail. He's loud. He's active. Vance is. These guys prefer to speak softly and carry a big stick. But Trump speaks loudly and carries a massive cannon, the source added. Where are they going with this? Well, Vance privately urged Trump against authorizing full-scale strikes on Iran in February. He encouraged the president to authorize a limited, punitive strike instead of a full-scale operation and warned him that a wider war could trigger regional chaos and heavy casualties, according to the New York Times. I'm hearing a lot of blowhardia here. I'm not getting a lot of specificity, right? Who's saying these things? Trump himself has since acknowledged the divide, conceding that his vice president was, quote, maybe less enthusiastic at the start of the war and philosophically a little bit different on the decision to strike. Gabbard, who, like Vance, was viewed as a break on Trump's hawkish instincts, never quite fit the new mold either. I don't think she was as opposed as a lot of people think she was. She recognized that her job was to serve the president, the same insider said. I mean, isn't that what your job is when you're picked by the president to be in his cabinet? I mean, right? But Vance, unlike Gabbard, has no graceful exit on offer. I'm not so sure hers is grateful or graceful. Apparently her husband has some kind of cancer. Like, unless that's all a lie, I can't imagine. As Vance's non-interventionist influence faded, Rubio's expanded, with the Secretary of State emerging as the dominant foreign policy voice in Trump's orbit. Rubio has more mojo than Vance. The president listens to him. Vance is out of step, and he has been for a long time. The source cautioned that Rubio's dominance may prove fleeting. By championing an unpopular war effort, the Secretary of State risks burning through political capital in real time and alienating both Trump's base and the wider American public. Now, the Daily Mail, I just have to say, what a bad article. What an absolutely ridiculous article. This could be a writer who just conjured all this stuff up, because you want to know who said all of these things, the sources. I'm going to give you the attribution. You ready? Here's who said all these things to the Daily Mail reportedly. Multiple sources tell the Daily Mail. Insiders told the Daily Mail. A source close to the president told Daily Mail. The sources say a White House insider told the Daily. Do you notice what I'm saying here? It's all vague, ambiguous, zero facts. According to the New York Times, you're quoting the New York Times in your article? The same insider said, according to the source, a separate source said, this isn't journalism, you guys. This is called a motive. And the motive is the left, probably the rhinos on the right, trying to do something to take a hammer, to make some dents in the 2028 GOP plans, to create this illusion that people really don't like J.D. Vance and he's not a big war guy. And, Rubio's been okay, but we really don't know. You guys believe this? Because I don't. And I wanted you to hear it for yourself, because this is going to be the sort of stuff that comes out with more frequency in the next 6 to 12 months. It's going to be about some kind of an insider rift and this feuding between friends. Once close, JD and Marco are now cats and dogs. Don't fall for it. You know what that means to me? We're winning. We're winning. And I appreciate very much the Daily Mail proving it for me. Thank you very much. When we go back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Democrats have a California problem, you guys. People are wising up to their suck and they're tired of paying for it. And I got proof next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. 11 times they had attribution, 11 quotes, 11 things that are firm things that are said with some namby-pamby attribution at the end. The New York Times reported is not a good enough source. So be keenly aware, follow the trends, because they're looking down the road at 2028. I think it's very interesting that you have a Cory Booker thing coming out about 2028. You've got Thomas Massie now throwing his hat in the ring, keeping some filing with the FEC or what have you for something in 2028, whatever it might be, right? Now this story, there's trouble in Camelot. The two friends fighting. You're like, what? Give me specificity. Said the Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman, Dan Raisin Kane. Okay, now I might listen to you. But when they're like, according to the New York Times, I'm like, I don't think so. Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. When I saw all of the pieces of like shingles and the tarp crap that comes out from underneath the shingles, these Amish guys on my roof, whoosh, it was just like literally raining. It was raining all of this stuff around me in the house as we got our new roof from Ireland Contracting. I thought for sure there would be all sorts of crap left in the yard. There'd be like scraps or nails or what have you. No. I don't know if they go out there and they pick through everything. I could not find a single piece of shingle, a single piece of that black, whatever, tarping, not any nails. What is it?
Tar paper.
Tar paper. None of it. Nothing. Zero. I was like, can you do that in my bathrooms? Can you clean my bathrooms like that? Because that would be super duper. Ireland Contracting, they say what they do and they do what they say. And they give you an estimate and they say, this is what it's going to cost. And we'll tell you if it's imminent, if you need a new roof sooner rather than later. They'll tell you, not to scare you, but to prepare you, right? And they'll tell you this is what it's going to cost. And you probably have another year or two on your roof, but you probably want to start, saving for that project because it's going to be a big one. That's what I like about Ireland Contracting. Just tell me the truth. That's all we wanted with COVID, right? Just tell me the truth. Give me something to believe in. I believe in Ireland Contracting. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. They're stupendous. 121 already. My goodness. Almost halfway. Did we get to 2,000? Let's see how you guys are doing. Almost 60 people. That'd be awesome. All right, let's see what you guys have chirped about here. Sort by newest. Yeah, Vance has been called out as a traitor within. I don't know. Oh, thank you very much. Shenanigans. I took my parents to the stock car races for fireworks night. That sounds lovely. Ivan says Dr. Ortiz is a truth teller, Brock.
Okay. I mean, it made total sense.
Thanks, Kate. Benigo. I'm sorry, I'm mental today. Hi, Kurt. Good to see you, Terry. Aw, Paulie. I watched Wendy Bell Radio. Yeah, you did. I'm with you, baby. Yeah, can you imagine following Trump as president? Oh, it would be even worse than taking Rush's time slot too soon after his death. That's an interesting point, 1955, mother of nine.
I know someone that made that point.
You. Unbelievable. They're just so ridiculous. And you can't create fake quotes from anonymous sources and expect people to believe what you're saying. This is the new journalism, you guys. This is why on this program, if I'm going to share stuff with you, we put it out on the rundown every single day. I hold it every single day, and we offer it to you to double check us. Read the article I read. Fact check me with the sound that we post. This is called truth and transparency. What they want you to be is blindfolded and stupid for the rest of your life. Except you woke up. You understand what's going on. You are a danger to the establishment, the good old way of doing it. We're done with that. It doesn't work. America is in retrograde. We want to go forward, not backwards. You want to see backwards? Go to California. I love California. I told you. I'm from California. I grew up there. It's one of the most magnificent places you'll ever visit, but not anymore. Just not anymore. Early voting numbers prove Republicans are pissed, and they should be. So they have early voting. It's such a ridiculous thing, right? We're going to do this early voting for like a month before the primary, which is next Tuesday. And usually who goes out and votes early? Democrats. What's going on this time? More than 1.2 million ballots returned for California primary election. It's pretty good. And this data is about 4 days old, okay? More than 1.28 million ballots have been returned ahead of California's primary election on June 2nd. Democrats have returned more than 529,000 ballots for a turnout rate of 5.1%. That's pathetic, but it is early voting. So 5.1% of the ballots, that's what it is. Republicans have returned more than 479,000 for a rate of 8.3%. Wait, what? And if you look at it, who's actually showing up to vote? Voters ages 65 and older had a turnout rate of 11.8%, with more than 704,000 ballots returned. Those ages 50 to 64 returned more than 281,000 ballots for 5.5%. And the younger voters, 18 to 34, we'll just skip all the way down to the youngest, it only had a 2% rate, 2% early mail-in balloting turnout. 2%. So all of these angry people on the left, all of the young people, they don't vote, you guys. They are not motivated to go vote in the midterms, which I think is very interesting. Now, there's a fellow in California, and he's like, look, there's a Sacramento, there's a map that the folks in Sacramento, they're hiding from us. And he's like, look, tonight at 8 o'clock, and he literally puts his phone number on the screen. He's like, tonight at 8 o'clock, we're going to go through all of the things that are so dizzying about this ballot that you need to know about, Californians, for next Tuesday. I want you to, this turnout, this encouragement, this enthusiasm from conservative voters is exactly what the Democrats can't stand. Listen.
Republicans are beating Democrats in California right now. And nobody's telling you. 12% of Republicans have already voted. 8% of the Democrats. 1.5 times the rate. In California, the bluest state in America. Voters over 65, 53% of every ballot returned. Voters under 35, 3%. The kids screaming loudest on TikTok, they don't vote. Orange County going red once again. Riverside, red. San Diego, red. This is the map Sacramento's hiding from you. Tonight, 8 p.m. Pacific, I'm going live with Mike Netter. Every race, every county, every number Newsom doesn't want on your TV. This is the last live walkthrough before June 2nd. Lost on your ballot? Text me, 310-596-1879. I'll walk you through it personally. Don't let them win by default. Phone number on the screen. I'll see you tonight.
I've never seen anything like it, ladies and gentlemen, in politics in my lifetime. It's not just candidates. It's not just the RNC putting stuff out. It's everyday people fed up. That's going to take us to Los Angeles, and it's a Spencer Pratt kind of day. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I had a soundbite from Kevin O'Leary, and I went long, but he's like, look, California is a loser state. And he means it in a way where you would never invest. You would never build something there. Why would you build your factory that made widgets there? You wouldn't, because you'll get taxed out the wazoo. You'll need all sorts of different kinds of insurance. They'll have all sorts of weird rules and regulations. It becomes suffocating. All we want as conservatives is people to get the hell out of our way so we can sink or swim on our own. Literally, when you boil down how I feel about conservative values, right? Take patriotism, take God, take abortion, take all of it out of the way. When it comes down to it, I believe I should be able to make decisions for me and for my family, and they shouldn't be made by a bunch of clowns in Democrat offices. Period. And Kevin O'Leary was like, why would you ever? It's a failed state. It's a loser state. Once beautiful cities are just shitholes now. Pardon me. But you know what I mean, right? I don't disagree.
Republicans making decisions for me either, though.
I don't disagree with that.
You know, like, deal with the military. Stay out of the social stuff. That's what bothers me. Like, I don't need you to tell me what's right and wrong. You're all dirtbags, right? Like, I don't need laws about, and you're just going to piss a lot of you off. I don't need laws about abortion. I think it's wrong. I don't have to live with the consequences. I think it's wrong. But that's okay. That's on you. Like, if you get one or don't get one, it doesn't affect me. Like, how about laws that affect me? I don't need morality.
You'll notice that
ruled by government.
You'll notice that abortion isn't even a top issue. It's not even. It's up there with climate change. Honestly, climate change and like gun control. Yeah. You know, the things that blow up because they hope that it'll move the needle and bubble right back down. But it's interesting. I don't disagree. So
why do we need a government that tries to police the morality when none of them
has morality? So GLP, it stands for glucagon-like peptide. It's a hormone that your body naturally produces in the gut, specifically the small intestine, that helps regulate blood sugar and appetite. So GLP, this glucagon-like peptide, has several key roles inside of your body. It signals your pancreas to release insulin, which lowers blood sugar, significant, by moving glucose into your cells. It prevents your body from releasing more glucose into the bloodstream. It slows the stomach from emptying, so you stay fuller longer. Digestion happens more slowly, so glucose enters the bloodstream more gradually, and it increases satiety, so affecting brain areas that process hunger, making you feel full longer. And so the GLP-1 shots that people are getting, you know, it's to beef up that hormone so that you eat less and lose weight. I mean, basically what it is. The thing is, I don't trust pharma, and you might. And if you're taking the shots, that's on you. Great. I mean, I hope it works for you and everything goes swimmingly. But the reality is these things are not longitudinal tested. We do not know what the effects are in 20 years. Have no idea. It could be anything from some weird allergy. It could be cancer. It could be released or decreased muscle mass. Nobody knows. I don't really want to roll the dice on that, especially not right after COVID. I don't trust anybody who has a syringe in their hand, which is why when my friends at bloodflow7.com put out this is a dietary supplement that does what the shots do, right? It helps you with your feeling full longer. It helps quiet the food cravings and the noise that can get into your way. And it helps you lose significant, meaningful weight. So this isn't some, you know, weekend warrior, got 5 pounds to lose. I got 40, 50, 80 pounds. This is one of those products. And if you go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy, you'll see all the products there on the page. Just go to it, read about it. There are reviews and all sorts of stuff. And then enjoy 30% off, where you're going to be able to take this for about $1 a day, which I'm sure is a lot cheaper than the shots and without the side effects. So bloodflow7.com, GLP-1 Gold. I love them. I think you guys already know that, but I do. Okay. Oh, who's giving us money? $10. Hi, eGrab4. I think what Brock is trying to say is you can't use laws to induce morality. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you can't force people to behave a certain way.
I'm going to call John out, who says, what if abortion affects everybody? What if you abort this person? It's going to cure cancer. You're talking about what ifs. You know, you're talking about, like, I don't think it's right. And I hope that we get to a world where there are none. But you can't. And I don't want taxes going to USAID. I don't want taxes going to abortion. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of reasons. I don't want government involved at all in my pocketbook. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know.
I agree.
They need to do a lot less.
Okay. Well, Common Sense America is starving for Spencer Pratt. If you're not plugged into what this guy has been able to pull off, it's the ultimate outsider's game anymore now. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. It's these old fossils who've been in the Senate for 40 odd years or in the House, like Mitch McConnell. Like, Bro, you got to move along. You got to move along. Nobody wants you. And then you got somebody like Donald Trump who comes around and he shakes everything up and he brings in, opens the door to other kinds of people. Spencer Pratt is not anything like President Trump, but he's also nothing like the establishment, which is why he's gaining so many followers and so much attention. So he was a reality TV star several years ago. He was on a show called The Hills. His home burned down in the Pacific Palisades. His parents' home burned down. His neighbors, some of them burned to death, died. 6,000 homes. And a government in Los Angeles under Karen Bass that doesn't care. That not only doesn't care about the devastation. I mean, imagine going to work and then coming home and everything that you have is gone. Every photo, every memory, everything you built, every decision you made, gone. And not only does your mayor and the system prevent you from rebuilding, they make it so laborious, so slow-walked, so gobbed up, mucked up with oatmeal that you've got to try to slog through, that they hope they'll wear you out and run out the clock and you'll just do what Lahaina did. And the people were like, I got to go. I got nothing. And then you leave and then you're forgotten and they steal your land. She allowed it to happen, right? And Spencer Pratt is tapping into that. You stole everything I had. Your incompetence, your lack of leadership, your lack of preparation, and your corruption. You stole our money, gave it to NGOs instead of beefing up your fire department, instead of making sure the fire trucks work, instead of making sure the hydrants were functional, instead of making sure the reservoirs were full. It's Southern California. It burns. This is not breaking news, but Karen Bass basically allowed the kindling to be gathered before somebody went with the Zippo and threw it on it. So Spencer Pratt one day was like, screw it. I'm going to run. I'm going to talk to the people about what they see every day. I'm going to tell them what's going on. I'm going to try to make a difference. I'm not doing it as a Republican. I'm not doing it as a Democrat. He has not run on politics. He runs on common sense. And this is what speaks to everyone. So he's speaking to a reporter at ABC 7 in Los Angeles, all right? And this reporter is trying to get in on basically, the Pratt surge is real. As Karen Bass's Los Angeles has begun, they started deploying these rapid mobile addict resource centers where taxpayer-funded NGOs set up all across the city to hand out the toolkits for addicts, you know, the pipes and the straws and the needles and the foil right in front of businesses, right in front of schools. Here's this guy. He's like, look, we're going to clean this up. We're going to talk common sense. This is not political. I want to save my city. Because if I don't save this city, I'm not going to rebuild here because it's a really crappy investment. Here's Spencer Pratt talking to this reporter at ABC 7 Los Angeles on him being an outsider. Well, you've never done this before. So therefore, how are you going to manage such a monster budget? Oh, I'm the outsider. Karen Bass is the one who apparently has the knowledge. How's she doing? Listen.
Talk about the money, because you've been open about some of your struggles financially in the past.
I never had struggles. I never had struggles. I had choices.
But managing money.
Let's be clear. My money, not taxpayer money.
But $15 billion budget that you will have to manage as elected mayor. I just want to know, for the citizens of Los Angeles, how can they trust you with that $15 billion?
I'll tell them this. Right now we have Mayor Bass. She just spent $400 million to house 1,400 people. I could hire 10 better accountants that I probably have on my phone that can make sure we take $400 million and we don't waste it on 1,400 people. So this idea that I don't have the experience, we live under their failed experience of managing the budget. Councilman Rahman is in charge of this homeless housing complex. Mayor Bass has been failing for 4 years. I'm coming in to stop this. I personally am not going to use a calculator and manage our $15 billion budget. I'm going to bring in people that manage 50 billion, 100 billion, people that know how to do this. My job is to make sure there's no more corruption, no more scamming, auditing, transparency.
And think about Karen Bass's qualifications as she became mayor. What are they? That she's a communist who loves Cuba? Well, probably not. That she's black? Yeah. That she's a chick? Yeah. Yeah, that was the whole campaign. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are such a diverse melting pot here in Los Angeles. It's time. It's time. Sort of like how we got our first black president. How'd that work for you? Is that great? That help everything out? No, of course not. And I didn't vote for him because I could not be made to feel like I was racist for voting with my common sense. This shiny metal object who served all of 1,400 days in the Senate before he climbed up the ladder to become Jesus Christ himself, Barack Obama. Oh, Karen Bass, she's got black and female. About that, other than that, what are you doing? What are you doing well? Not much. So this is where the reporter asks a question. It's a good question. Are you part of this Make America Great Again movement? Because the president was asked about you, and he's like, is he MAGA? Does he like me? I think he's MAGA. And so this reporter asks Spencer Pratt precisely that question, and he has the answer of all answers.
Yesterday, President Trump said, I heard he's a big MAGA person in response to you. Are you a big MAGA person?
I'm a big nobody person. I'm a big Spencer Pratt Angelino person. I only represent myself, my community, Angelinos. I'm not part of any political party. I'm running a nonpartisan race. I'm supposed to represent all of Los Angeles, not either political party. And that's the problem. Everyone has lost the plot. The mayor is supposed to be a nonpartisan race. That's why there's no letters next to anyone's name. The mayor currently has hijacked the position in the chair, made it a political seat. It's not supposed to be. You're supposed to make the police, water and power, fire, streets without potholes, the lights on, no drug addicts in front of the parks, no drug addicts naked in front of kids' school. That is my party. It's Angry Angelito. So anybody can say I'm connected to whoever they want, and I'm fine with anybody saying I like Spencer Pratt. Great. Spread that message, because my message is common sense, basic human quality of life.
Isn't that legendary and honest? I don't want anybody's endorsement. I want to fight for Angry Angelinos. That is my party. And so then this reporter, because it's what hacks do, tries to drum up this past that Spencer Pratt apparently has, where he was friends with InfoWars Alex Jones. Okay. So we're going to dig up stuff from 2006, 2007 in an effort to make you look crazy. Right? We're going to make you seem like a conspiracy theorist. Let's see how this reporter is able to stick the landing.
I interviewed Nithya Raman last week, and in the interview with Nithya Raman, she said about you, and I just want to give you the opportunity to respond to this. She said,
I don't need to hear it,
she
so
said,
if you want to tell me.
She said you don't believe in vaccines, you think that the Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax, and that you're a conspiracy theorist. What's your response to that?
I would say Nithya Raman is a pathological liar that sat just a week ago with an anti-Semite that literally said that 9/11 should happen, Hassan Piker. So we're talking about people's morals. I would say she should check her out, because I would never sit next to somebody who has no problem with Jews getting attacked.
But she's trying to connect you with your friendship to Alex Jones.
She can do whatever she wants.
Do you have a friendship with Alex Jones?
She can do whatever she wants. She can say whatever she wants. All these people don't want you to talk about their failures. So we could go back 15 years. I've said a lot of dumb things. I've done a lot of stupid things in my life. But after they let my house burn down and my parents' house burn down, I'm a different person. They're not running against a person from the past. They're running against a person whose neighbors burned alive. So any of these things they bring up are for the past. That's not the reality of what I am.
That is amazing. They're trying to run against my past. I'm running because my neighbors burned alive. What's your retort to that? What do people in Los Angeles feel from Karen Bass. Because you know when somebody cares about you. You can hear Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, literally want to jump through the TV camera and strangle anybody who lied to all of us for years about how toxic and dangerous that stupid jab was. And they lied and they covered it up. You can taste his anger. What do you get from Karen Bass? A photo op? Some shovel-ready photo shoot where she's got some stupid, shiny new shovel that she's pretending to push into the earth to what? Spend $400 million more on housing people who don't need homes. They need to get off of drugs, right? It's amazing when you're off of drugs and you're not living on Skid Row and you're not sharing needles with people and living with rats. It's amazing. You go home. These people have homes. But California needs them addicted. There's no money without a victim. There's no cause to get behind, to whip up some fake enthusiasm behind. If there isn't, you don't have a mission. You don't have a way to grift. You don't have a way to sponge off the taxpayer dollars. And so Spencer Pratt says, we don't have a money problem. They're stealing your money. That's the problem. It's not that there's not enough money. They're just stealing it. And he's like, we're going to stop doing that. I want you to know where your money goes. We're going to fix the freaking potholes. We're going to have our fire trucks not respond to every stubbed toe. Do you guys know that there's a rule about that? If there's a 911 emergency, they got to send a ladder truck in addition with an ambulance. It's part of the rules. And so they burn through diesel fuel like nobody's business. And some of these firefighters are working 20 calls in a 24-hour shift. The system is set to fail, to keep everybody pissed, hungry, homeless, addicted, angry. And then Karen Bass will be like, well, I just need a little bit more time to finish the job. Spencer Pratt says, you know what? My dead neighbors wish they had more time too. Whose message sticks the landing better, do you suppose? The Pratt surge is real, and they know it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, sometimes there's just so much garbage floating around on all of our devices that you need a timeout. Did you hear about the guy who took a nearly 2-month hiatus from all screens? And then he had his brain scanned. Oh my heavens. Next.
Okay. I need to say something real quick. You all can have your arguments about abortion. My argument isn't about abortion. It's not. It's about government involvement. So you can say I'm for abortion or I'm for murder or make the you're making an argument that is not true. You're arguing abortion versus what I'm arguing is less government involvement in our lives. So have your abortion, put words in my mouth. That's fine. But that's not what I'm saying. We're arguing two different points. I didn't feel like typing.
I was going to say that, you know, it's interesting when you think about, I'm going to talk to you guys about health insurance real fast because it's something that's been of my mind lately. And certainly with the son, soon to be 2 sons who are going to be off of our family coverage and they're going to really need to figure out what they're going to get. The whole system has been set up so that you pay and you don't get the protection that you need. It's all about fleecing you for more money. Costs continually go up. Services go down to the point where you're just scared to death. The deductibles are so high. This is how the system is supposed to not work. The deductibles and such are so high that you will refuse to go to the hospital because you know you can't afford it. So then what happens? They make a lot of money with their premiums and such, but they don't have to dole out a whole lot of services because people can't afford to get them. Well, the system's collapsing. The Affordable Care Act, that marketplace, is imploding. And soon there are going to be millions upon millions of Americans, gig workers, waitresses, hairstylists, nail salon people, what have you, barbers, all these gig workers, plus people who are self-employed, people on COBRA, who are going to need help. And I'm sorry, but I don't want my insurance to be like my cable bill. I don't need 580 channels. I watch virtually none of them. I watch maybe 3. Well, why can't I just pay for the 3 that I need? That's how healthcare should be. If you're a dude and you're not married, you don't need pregnancy coverage. You don't need maternity coverage. Why do they make you pay for it? That's a great question. info.healthrevolution.net. You plan your own coverage. You figure out what you want with Health Revolution. They put it together for you. On average, people save between 30 and 60%. That is a significant savings. No co-payments when you go see your doctor. And what about your doctor? You decide what doctor you want. You decide, not the government, not some plan, right? You. So if you're under the age of 65, you're in pretty good health, right? And you fit into those parameters I said before, 800-868-6187. Write that number down. 800-868-6187. info.healthrevolution.net. info.healthrevolution.net. It's brilliant. And it's going to be like Uber changed the whole world for taxis, right? That's what this is going to be. And we're on the cutting edge of it. And I'm super jazzed because it's necessary. Saved 60%. Are you out of your mind? Love it. (2013) when the 5 boys were all still in school together at our little Catholic elementary / middle school. Michael was leaving 8th grade. The youngest 2 were in kindergarten. They came home from school, the last day of school after Mass. And by 10:15, they were on the couch bickering, and all of them were on some kind of a device. Then we had Leap Pads, and we had Nintendo DSs, and we had a couple other things, not Xbox per se yet. And they were already fighting and complaining about how bored they were. Literally, they had walked in the door, and 15 minutes later, they're squawking and fighting, and I was like, I must have been having a bad day, because I was like, that's it. No electronics. And they're like, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, for the whole summer. And I got the words out. And I was like, wait, what? What am I doing? And I banned them for 88 days. They were not allowed to touch anything. The only thing they were allowed to watch on television was Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates, that's it. Nothing else. They couldn't touch a device, couldn't go on a computer, couldn't play a game, not a damn thing. It was a long and complicated summer. And I would say probably the most important summer of our young lives. Those boys played together with everything. They hopped on pogo sticks. They played tic-tac-toe. They played chess. They were outside playing with sidewalk chalk. They rode their bicycles. They played cornhole. They made things out of Play-Doh. They cooked. They goofed off. I would say that my 5 sons got close, and they are very close because of that summer. Well, this gentleman, his name is Carlos Whitaker. Apparently, he's a best-selling author. And he did his own summer electronics ban, but he did it on himself for about 7.5 weeks. He had a scan of his brain before and a scan of his brain afterwards, and he sat down on a podcast to explain what he discovered, what he went through. And I think it's fascinating. I can totally see this. 100%. Now, is it reality in today's day and age where everything is done on a screen? Is it reality for us to just check out and go on a long 7.5-week wilderness, voyage? No, I mean, it's not. But I don't think our devices are making us any smarter. If anything, they're dulling our senses. Did you guys hear? And I think we talked about this, Kathy Hochul, one of the few things that I think she's done okay in New York, whether it's her or it's just New York City in general, they banned in high schools, they banned all cell phones. And so you're not allowed to be on the phone or have it with you at school. And after a year, the test scores are up. The interpersonal skills are ridiculous. They're great. There is a connection that the kids are making. They actually look at each other and talk to one another because there's no diversion. It's just common sense. I thought it was interesting. I wanted to share that with you. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program, the guy Democrats are selling as good for California is just a billionaire hoser. Tom Steyer, don't take my word for it. Listen to what he said, and then you decide next. What a hoser. All I can see is, what's the slap shot? Hoser. All right. Healthy Cell. I will tell you this. The REM sleep formula from Healthy Cell. I took one last night. I was tired and I have been sleeping, tossing and turning. I don't know why. And last night was one of those nights where I just really need to go to bed. It was 9:30 and I usually wake up between 3:30 and 4. And I really wanted a good 6 hours of just good solid sleep. So Joe was on call. And so he took a shower in the event that he gets called in the middle of the night. He can get up and go. So he came in. He's like, will it bother you if I take a shower? And I'm like, no, not at all. So he went into the bathroom and I kind of curled up in bed and I remember nothing. I don't remember hearing him come out. I don't remember him coming into bed. I don't know if he said anything. I don't know if he turned any lights on. And I was out, down for the count. And it's one of the things the thing I like about REM sleep from Healthy Cell is it's a microgel that's delicious. So it's easy to swallow. It's just like taking in Jell-O or applesauce or Go-Gurts or something like that. And you suck it in and swallow it. It gets down into your system because it is absorbed by your body. It gets down to the cellular level. And you wake up and you don't feel like you got hit by a truck. Oftentimes when you take sleep aids, you're like, oh my God, I just needed 18 more hours of sleep to work this up. You wake up with this and you're ready to go, whether you've had 4 hours of sleep or 10. And that's how I feel my response has been to the REM sleep. I also use the Focus and Recall every single day. And I'll tell you, I notice when I don't take it, it seems like after about 30 to 40 minutes, like cobwebs are brushed out of my line of sight and I can hone in on what I'm saying to you. My mind wanders a lot. And so it's scary when you have a talk show because I'll forget where I'm going and then be like, oh, fudge, what now? And I try to pretend that didn't happen. But Focus and Recall completely keeps me on point. Healthycell.com/Wendy. It is a revolutionary and completely common sense way to get supplements into your system. Make it more digestible for you and your gut, and then more of the product gets where it needs to go, into your cells. Healthycell.com/Wendy. All right. We got some really cute stuff. So I checked the P.O. box. Thank you so much. This is from Steve from Concord, North Carolina. Perhaps either display this item in the background. It will encourage viewers, remind them what they need to do. So from now on, I'm just going to be like, right? Can you give me the golden thumb? Give me a golden thumbs up. That's the Rumble button. Steve, that was so cute.
The golden thumb.
And I love it. And then, hold on. This is for you, Brock.
Uh-oh. I don't like it when you start laughing before you're like, this is for you.
I have to find out who it was from, and hopefully I didn't throw it away. Oh, wait. Apparently, I really annoy you guys by begging. So I'm sorry. I don't see whose name is on this. Yeah, this is just one of those Amazon fulfillment. That was really cute. Thank you for that. And then this guy is so cute. I love him. Let me read this to you real fast. I get everything, you guys, from Rick. He's like, hey, Wendy, I've been having fun making earrings. I made some WBR earrings. Thought you, Kate, Jolene, Demanda, etc. would have fun with them. That's how much of a community you guys are. That's how much of my family you are. He says, P.S. Ashley at Tulip Blooms put 6 boxes together for me for Mother's Day.
Jeez.
She's great. He said her 96-year-old mom, his sister, a family friend, and 3 daughters-in-law. And mom is Doris. Hi, Doris. Look at how cute. Rick, thank you. And he gave me quite a few of them. Like, honest to goodness. Hold on. They're sticking together. Hold on. Is that the cutest thing? Rick. And he sent me all bunches of them. All different kinds. All kinds of earrings. Wendy Bell Radio earrings. You guys are... Your handmade stuff blows me away. Thank you. Rick, thank you. I know who you are and I see you. Thank you. So nice. I feel terrible that I don't know who sent that sweatshirt, but it didn't come with anything in it. So if that's you, let me know so I can appropriately thank you. I love you guys. You make me feel very special, and I appreciate that. So Carlos Whitaker is an author, podcaster, global speaker, and social media influencer. And he has a massive following on Instagram. But this is what they say. His massive following is 35,000 people. Would you say that's massive? I think I have more than that.
I mean,
it is. It's a lot.
It's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's more than I know, but I don't know. Now I'm all worried about how I gulp.
Why?
Because I gulped too loud. That one person hissed at me and said I was disgusting.
So?
Yeah.
They hiss all they want. I got your hiss.
Oh, my goodness.
Never going to please everybody all the time.
No.
No, if I say it, you should change.
Right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
62 candidates running for mayor or governor of California. 62. And because of the primary way they do things in California, they're all listed on the same ballot. And the California folks have to dig through it and find somebody's name that they identify with. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. It's so weird that the billionaire guy that I would think that the left really would like possibly to win this thing, to beat out Steve Hilton, Chad Bianco, is Tom Steyer, right? Tom Steyer, who's run for president in the past, dropped out because nobody liked him. Shocker, right? I want you to hear, and this is the guy who's number one on the ballot. So of all of the names listed, Tom Steyer's number one. Steve Hilton's like 3/4 of the way through on page 8. You know, I have no idea where Chad Bianco is, but Tom Steyer and Eric Swalwell, number 1 and number 2. Gotta love how that happened, right? Don't tell me it's not purposeful. They will do anything they can to try to get some kind of lunatic leftist over the finish line. But if you haven't heard some of the things that this guy says, the Steyer guy, I don't even care how he made his money. I don't care that he's a billionaire. I don't care. See, if you have Democrat next to your name, sadly, I'm sorry, I judge you and I would never vote for you because we know better. We know what we get. Even though Karen Bass is a Democrat, she's really a communist. The woman loves Cuba. Okay, why don't you go over there instead? I don't want any more Democrats in charge. They have destroyed the state of California, period. So I want you to hear, some of the dubious things that this cat has said, because much like Cory Booker is playing for the potential of running in 2028 for president, and he feels like he's got to have some kind of a Maha story so he can lure some of RFK Jr.'s followers over to his campaign. It's so wholly unauthentic. This isn't like John Fetterman, who, whether you like him or not, says what he thinks and does what he does. This isn't like Spencer Pratt, who's like, look, I'm not for MAGA or anybody else. I'm for angry Angelinos. I'm for people not dying in their homes. I'm for there not being fires that incinerate, hundreds of acres, period, thousands of acres. This guy, Tom Steyer, I want you to hear this. He's being interviewed, and the sign behind him, I think they call it like a step and repeat. It's this big thing behind him, and it says stupid stuff to pander to progressives, right? And this is what it says. It says, homes we can afford, okay, and tax billionaires like Tom. So Tom Steyer's big goal here is not to change how the money is spent in California. If he becomes governor, he's just going to go after more rich people, get more money, and give it to different kinds of people. That's called socialism. Right? That's what socialists do. We're going to have everybody have the same amount. That's what we want. Everybody, it'll all be perfect. We'll bring down all the rich people. We'll elevate those who don't make enough. Everybody will have the same. It'll be perfectly equal, said nobody with a functioning brainstem. This is the most outrageous and insincere thing you're going to hear today in 45 seconds or less. I guarantee you, the words that Tom Steyer is about to utter are not things that this guy actually believes in. In no way does Tom Steyer actually believe this, but he does want that wacky progressive wing of the Democrat Party to pay attention to him because he thinks they're going to get him across the line. Listen.
You talked about trans people. I'm totally in favor of trans athletes in high school. I think when you understand the vulnerability, the stress, the danger of being a trans kid, and you understand that almost half of them try to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And then you think we're going to punish those kids. We're going to cut them off from team sports. We're going to cut them off from participating in the community. We're going to cut them off from fun. It's like, no, we're not. No, we're not. And, as someone who played sports my whole life and loves sports and love playing sports, they're more important things than whether you start on your high school basketball team. And that is standing up for people who are under threat of death.
Tom Steyer is talking to Jennifer Welch, who is the living embodiment of the white college-educated toxic liberal chick who is the scourge of our society. I'm going to get behind trans kids. They can't be denied fun, Don't worry about the 25 million girls in America who play sports. We're going to let this infinitesimal number of victims who we groomed and created to be victims so they can continue to beat all of our real senses, right? We don't want them not to have fun, so we're going to let them trample all the girls' sports. Tom Steyer really believes that. You know, gender activists, Tom, literally coach kids to threaten suicide for leverage. FYI. I don't know. Have you guys gotten a lot of people in your circles, transgender kids who are killing themselves? Transgenderism is a first world problem. You know, where people are not looking at themselves in the mirror and being like, you know what? I know I'm a boy, but I really think I'm a girl. Ethiopia. Right? Where people are starving. Somalia, the people who are not fleecing American taxpayers, right, in Somalia, they're not worried about their transgenderism. They're worried about surviving until tomorrow. Only in a privileged place with toxic, lunative progressives do you get this transgender nonsense. And he's like, do you know they try to kill themselves? Yeah, because there's something wrong with you if you think you need to cut things off or stitch things on, and then all of a sudden you're going to be better. Oh, you know what? Now that I have breasts, I feel so much better. Said nobody, Tom. Then he said this. Everything costs too much in California. And he's got a plan to fix it. You guys ready? Here we go.
Look, I've been very clear about this. Biggest problem in California is people can't afford to live in California anymore. So it's about, you know, the buzzword is affordability, but it's really about costs at the end of the month. And that starts with housing. It goes to healthcare. It goes to electricity rates. It goes to how much we're paying at the pump, and it goes to food. And in every one of those, I have a specific policy solution. Many of them involve taking on corporate special interests that are driving up the costs and are feasting off Californians' misery.
Hey, Tom, newsflash. It's not about corporations taking advantage of people. It's about the structure of being run in a state by all Democrats for how long? Your rules and regulations and taxes and extras and all of that stuff, it makes it unaffordable for everybody. California housing, next to Hawaii, California is the most expensive housing in America, with average rent costing $2,500 a month. And Democrats have burned through $24 billion in the last 5 years to build homes for the homeless. That's $27,000 per homeless person. And yet homelessness has increased. Gotcha. Healthcare, he says, we've got healthcare problems. Yeah, your rates are sky high because you're letting Armenians and Russians scam the hospice system, and Democrats expanded Medi-Cal to cover all illegal aliens, Tom. So how about your electricity rates? California has the highest electricity rates in the continental United States. You know why? They're 80% higher than the national average due to wildfire-related costs. You know, the utilities have to pay the wildfire insurance, fire hardening, and damage repair costs after recent catastrophic fires. Who ends up paying for it? Not them. You do in California. Gas prices, the most expensive gas in the United States. Why? Because every gallon has $1.68 in state taxes, fees, and environmental program costs, 90 cents per gallon in total taxes. The state excise tax is 60 cents a gallon. The federal tax, 18 cents a gallon. Then you've got the cap and trade program, the lower carbon fuel standard, the environmental compliance costs, total environmental program costs, all of that. And don't get me started on the special fuel blends that the state requires. Only California refineries can make that blend. But I'm sure Tom is going to fix that. Food prices are expensive because of everything else I just told you. There you go, Tom. And just like a good socialist, he says, you know what? I'm going to redistribute the wealth. I'm going to pound the rich. Like me, I'm rich until all of the rich people leave California. Wow, Tom, it's a great idea. Nobody's thought of that before.
I've also said I'm the person in this race and the only person who will admit to be wanting to tax billionaires like me more, close corporate tax loopholes, and get the money to working people, and basically have a system where, we're the richest state and the richest country in the world, and we have the highest poverty rate in the United States of America. That doesn't seem like success to me.
And your plan doesn't seem like it's going to fix it, you big goof. And then finally, if all you need to know about Tom Steyer and why you don't want him leading California, here's Tom making a little bit of a public service announcement on his gubernatorial campaign website, standing in front of a giant suck windmill.
Here I am in the foothills of California. It's incredibly beautiful and it's blowing like crazy. That's terrific because we're creating energy here every single second for free. As governor, the way we're going to deal with energy is simple. We're going to make the polluters pay. We're going to take environmental justice into consideration from the get-go. We're going to deploy our technology to distribute energy freely, cheaply to every Californian. And we are going to get to net zero way before 2045.
I mean, literally, that's the guy. The Democrat machine somehow magically made #1 on the ballot for the primary next Tuesday. Good luck, Tom. You're going to need it, babe. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, about those high gas prices Democrats really want you to blame Trump for. Every story about high gas prices leaves out one really big piece of critically important information. You ready? I got it for you next. Look at these windmills. They're going to be great. It's all for free. It doesn't do anything. We kill all the birds, but whatever. There's a lot of birds. They don't care about birds.
What's funny is they need oil to grease them.
So bizarre. It's like the gas powered generators behind the electric plug-in things that they were spending $8 billion to create for EVs. And then you hear, and there's some like diesel generator. I'm like, really? That sounds interesting, right? I want to tell you about the Healthy Fat, Dr. Gundry's special elixir. I like things that are easy. I like things that are proven. I like things that taste good and aren't difficult for us to digest. I like things that help me not eat so much or allow me to power through a chunk of time without being obsessed with eating something, shoving some bread and butter down my throat, which is all I really want. Oh, gosh. That's why Dr. Gundry created the Healthy Fat. He calls it MCT Wellness, and he says on his website, and if you can get to it by going to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. He says he lost 70 pounds, 70 pounds drinking this drink. And you're already drinking water. All you have to do is add a scoop of this. And of course, your collagen peptides. Oh, shucks. Into a glass of water, shake it up. And what you'll notice is several hours of really great lack of food noise, lack of stomach urging, and I'm so hungry. You don't think about food, and you know what you do? You skip a meal. And if you look at what I did, it's so bad. When you skip a meal, what happens? You don't eat so much, fewer calories in. It's remarkable. You lose weight. That's what's going on. Dr. Gundry is a big-time physician, and he created this specifically for this purpose. And then he was
the lid not on?
And then he was, no, I goofed. And then he was his own guinea pig. And he's like, all right, I'm going to try this. I did all of the research and I'm going to put it together. You can look at the ingredients. There's nothing controversial here at all. You're already drinking water. Throw a scoop in there and you're not hungry for 4 or 5 hours. Okay. Do that at 10 o'clock in the morning. And you know what you're not doing? Eating lunch. So you're losing weight. And then you're just going to enjoy it and you're going to like the flavor of it. And you're going to like, I need more of that. So I'm a subscriber. I'm one of their influencers. Obviously, you know this, but I like it so much. I buy it just like the Blood Flow 7. I buy it so I don't run out. I buy it so I'm not without it. That's how I feel about this. The Healthy Fat. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. That's how you get there. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Watch the video. It's very informative, even though videos are annoying. This one, you're going to be like, all right, I like that one.
This just in. Ebola outbreak could become the deadliest on record, ABC reports.
Didn't ABC also tell us that the Haitians weren't eating cats in Ohio?
Jabs were safe and effective.
Other than that, it stops with you. You get that vaccine, it stops with you. Good job, Rachel. Where did she end up going?
She's at MSN now.
Doing what? Same thing?
Rachel, yeah. She works like 1 day a week.
MSN or MS Now?
MS Now.
Oh. So she's in the same place. She's a program. I'd like to know if Joe Biden had come up with a plan, if he had seen a nuclear Iran or one that was imminently close to making a warhead, and we know that they were. If that president had said, you know what, we got to do something about this. We got to go in there. We got to neutralize that. And if gas prices skyrocketed after that, I think most people would have been like, we needed to do that. That was a threat. That was a global threat. We just did the world a favor. And if you had maybe 6 months, even a year of higher gas prices afterwards, people would have been like, I think that's a reasonable trade-off. Rid the world of terror and the threat of nuclear holocaust, essentially. I think the country would have gotten behind that. Donald Trump does it, and it's like, oh my God, can you imagine these gas prices? Well, there's some context missing in that. Brock found this morning, and it's a great article from issuesandinsights.com. And asked about the gas price issue, President Trump said, that's peanuts compared to what's at stake if we didn't do what we did. And so, of course, the media had a field day. Oh, he doesn't care about your finances. The billionaire president doesn't care how you're getting squeezed. And it's like, no, actually, if you take his words and you look at them, he's right. I wanted to read this to you because I think it's a really interesting article. Yes, today's gas prices are peanuts. Democrats were quick to make hay of President Donald Trump's remark that the high price of gasoline is peanuts. But what if he's right? What if today's prices are lower than they were, say, when we had a peanut farmer as president, or many times since then? Democrats called Trump out of touch with everyday Americans. Peanuts isn't how my constituents would describe the spiking gas prices that make everyday life more expensive, said New Hampshire Senator Jeanne Shaheen. POTUS isn't paying for this war. Middle-class Americans are, and he couldn't care less. Well, Trump is, of course, being maligned again. What he says was that the cost of gasoline is peanuts next to what would happen if Iran got a nuclear weapon. And he's certainly right about that. But since when did being fair or accurate matter to Democrats or their handmaidens in the press, which spent the past several days running headlines about soaring fuel costs, Memorial Day sticker shock, and gas prices squeezing America's food banks? And still, if you take Trump's quotation out of context, he's not entirely wrong. Yes, the national average is about $4.60 a gallon. And yes, that means filling up a tank will cost you more than $50. But every story about how high gas prices leaves out one piece of critically important context: inflation. When you factor in inflation, you see today's prices aren't nearly as high as they've been over the past several decades. In fact, the national average price hit $5.79 a gallon in today's dollars under Joe Biden in June of 2022. But funny, we don't seem to recall gasoline price horror stories being written back then. Go a little further back, you'll see that gas prices were even higher than they are today. Practically the entire 2 terms of Barack, we can't drill our way to lower gas prices, Obama. In fact, the average inflation-adjusted price of gasoline during Obama's 8 years in office was $4.39. Prices are lower than they were for most of George W. Bush's second term and lower than during Jimmy Carter's stagflation. And this time around, high prices are for an important cause, at least. Tomorrow, we will report on this space in our latest poll, which focuses on gas prices. And they talk about this. When the war ends in Iran, Iran won't get nukes and gas prices will come down sharply. So what will be the complaint then? And that's exactly right. Look at what they did, the media did to Spencer Pratt. We're going to dig up your past. In 2007, which was almost 20 years ago, you were friends with Alex Jones. He's a conspiracy theorist. How could you ever be qualified to be mayor? I didn't travel 15 times in the last 30 years to Cuba. But Mayor Bass did. I didn't leave the country for Ghana during what was going to be prescribed as some pretty ferocious winds and the potential for fire danger. But Mayor Bass did. I haven't spent all of these hundreds of millions of dollars on failed projects, but Democrats in California have, right? It's so ridiculous. And so I wonder, what happens when President Trump does go down as the best president in American history? Because what he's doing geopolitically is brilliant. And if you haven't connected the dots, we will. Do not miss this last segment next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. More Gains Fitness. So Kelly Morgan is one of those women that has negative body fat, which is just wild. But I've watched her workouts and I see what she does, and she's a machine. Like, when that's your life, that's what you do for a living. You watch meticulously what you eat and you exercise constantly. I don't have time to do that. You don't have time to do that, right? So Kelly knows this, which is beautiful. So she created an offering, and it happened during COVID because she was very responsive to everybody staying home. And she's like, look, they don't want you going to the gym because God forbid you should stay healthy during a global pandemic. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the gym to you. We're going to take the gym to you. We're going to do an online 90-day program where we teach you how to eat, the right things to eat, the right things to stay away from. And then we're going to give you videos that show you how to do the exercises that we do so that you have a complete body workout multiple times a week. It's on your computer. It's on your phone. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to leave the house. You can if you live nearby in Somerset or Cambria counties in Pennsylvania. She invites you to join her gyms. There's 4 of them, More Gains Fitness. But if you're out of state, right, and you don't have the time to work out constantly, you're going to love this. It's at your fingertips at a moment's notice, 90 days, and you'll totally transform your body. Beyond that, you transform your mind. You learn that you can do things that you thought were insurmountable. And Kelly just shows you, she's like, no, you can, and I'll help you do it. And it's remarkable. And the before and after pictures are like, what? So More Gains Fitness, MORGAINZ fitness.com. Do you have the sniper? So our friend Heather and her wife Shelly are frequent flyers on our chat. Heather from Renfrew. And they have a beautiful piece of property, and they have animals, and they have a horse trailer. And the horse trailer apparently got super funky with some kind of a green fuzz from the trees that it's parked under. And so she wanted to clean it. Heather did. So she got out her sniper, right? She's like, let's see what Sniper does to the side of this horse trailer. And then she took a video and sent it to us.
This is a custom fab aluminum horse trailer. It sits under a tree, so it gets covered with this green, green stuff. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it gets covered in this green stuff. So we have to clean it off with something. And I found that if you spray it with Sniper, it comes out to look like this. This is after I sprayed it with Sniper, scrubbed it, and hosed it off. And this is what it looks like. So we did the whole trailer. And in a couple seconds, you'll see exactly how nice the whole trailer looks. Well, at least one side. We love Sniper. Sniper is the best.
Wow. That is awesome. That is simply awesome. Who knew? 1,000,001 uses for disinfectwithsniper.com. I'm just going to say it's the best. You literally find yourself using no other cleaner, right? Now, if you use stuff that's abrasive, see, you want to clean your sink or what have you, yes, I get it. But if you wipe stuff down, if you want an antibacterial, hospital-grade disinfectant, disinfectwithsniper.com is all you need to know. And he will ship it to you literally the same day. It's wonderful. Disinfectwithsniper.com. I love it.
Apparently, Trump has called a cabinet meeting for Camp David. Maybe they're going to talk about the UFOs.
Ooh.
And the releasing of it. Or Iran.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see where we are. That's what I do. 2.35. Can we get 150 people to click the thumbs up button? Right?
Oh, let me get out so you can really show them.
That's all you need to know.
And the
it's all you need to know. Oh, please.
Hit that with some sniper.
Oh, please. Big things are coming, says Rosebud. What do you think? What do you think? You know, I did a read on Camp David. It's kind of very interesting. Nobody knows where it is.
That's where they have real secret meetings.
Mm-hmm. Nobody knows where it is. Like, it's not exit here for Camp David. It's super secret, which is kind of cool.
It's like double secret probation.
It's super cool. So what else is going on out there? What have I forgotten about? Oh, I still have the
If you're on your phone, close the chat, hit the thumbs up button, and get back in the chat.
Thank you, guys. Let's see if that moved the needle. Look at that, 30 people. Thank you. That was very nice of you. 120 to go, and then we're smooth sailing. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
You stuck your thumb up your nose.
Duh. It's a little big.
Ugh.
To the establishment because he is an outsider who's fixing messes. Oh gosh, they promised but failed to take care of for decades. I mean, think about that. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. This is why Spencer Pratt is gaining so much momentum in LA. Like, people are tired of the empty promises. You have to actually have results. You can't promise and take more money and spend more money and throw money at it and not fix the problem and expect people to be okay with that. And Donald Trump is dangerous to the establishment because he is that ultimate outsider who manages to look at problems that seem otherwise insurmountable, i.e., figuring out the whole peace in the Middle East thing, getting countries to stop fighting and killing each other, ending all of these wars, neutralizing this nuclear threat from Iran. But beyond that, once you see progress being made, and once that you see it can be done, you realize that you'll never vote establishment again. And so now it's going to be this new class of people coming in, people who don't have the baggage of the past being connected to Congress, which is a failure. It is a failed system. President Trump is holding the Middle East accountable right now. He is offering Muslim countries something that I never thought I would see in my lifetime. And I'm talking countries like Iran. He's offering them a seat at the table to be part of something that he calls this unparalleled world coalition. And you're either in or you're out. This is a together thing. We're doing this together. Everybody is going to hold one another accountable. That's how it's going to be. And it's quite brilliant. So I got this article from the Daily Wire, and then there's this thread on X that Brock sent to me, and it's perhaps the most concise and mind-boggling expose of what this president is doing behind the scenes. You know, the guy who's got no plan. What's this guy? He's a reality TV star. Look at his skin. He's orange. What's going on with him? Look at that hair. Can you believe I'm so embarrassed? No, he's a genius, and you're going to hear about it. So Donald Trump wants more Muslim nations to join the Abraham Accords, even Iran. So Monday, President Trump called on several Muslim majority nations with long histories of hostility toward Israel to join the Abraham Accords and make peace with the Jewish state. In a Truth Social post, Trump said ongoing negotiations with Iran were proceeding nicely before revealing he'd spoken with the leaders of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain. And he says, after all the work done by the United States to try to pull this very complex puzzle together, it should be mandatory that all of these countries, at a minimum, simultaneously sign on to the Abraham Accords, he posted. And he specifically singled out Saudi Arabia and Qatar, arguing that their participation should begin immediately. It should start with the immediate signing by Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and everybody else should follow suit, Trump said. If they don't, they should not be part of this deal in that it shows bad intention. So literally, if you're going to be an outsider and you still want to fire missiles at Israel or anybody else, all these other countries are going to hold you accountable. Not the United States per se, but these other countries. This is their backyard. He claimed the countries would be honored as soon as our document is signed to have the Islamic Republic of Iran as part of the Abraham Accords. Like, he doesn't talk about them as being monsters or dogs or terrorists or dirtbags or the scourge of the planet. He speaks and he elevates the Iranian regime and says, culturally, we're wicked different. But there's no reason that we should continue this insanity that is having your people in Iran starve to death and other countries suffer as well. Let's do this thing together. So he says, if Iran signs its agreement with me as president of the United States of America, it would be an honor to have them be also part of this unparalleled world coalition. This is fascinating. So the brokered by the U.S. during the president's first term, the Abraham Accords are normalization agreements between Israel and several nations. On September 15th, 2020, the UAE and Bahrain signed the initial treaties at the White House alongside Israel and the United States. And on December 22nd, 2020, Morocco joined in exchange for U.S. recognition of its Western Sahara sovereignty. And then Sudan signed in 2021 for terrorism list removal. There's always an incentive. You sign this list, you pledge with us, you give us your blood. We're going to do this blood thing together. We're going to be together. We're going to back off some of these punitive things that we've done to you. This is what he's saying to Iran. You get rid of your nuclear dust. You agree to do this and that. We're going to remove some of these sanctions so that you can begin processing your oil, selling your oil, and making some money again. There's always if you do that, then this is the reward. He's no dummy. So he's offering Iran the ultimate olive branch. This, however, is one of the most amazing threads that I've read. And the guy who writes it, his handle on X is AJ Inapi. INAPI, AJ Inapi. And I'm going to call him out because it's really well done. And he writes this post. He says, look, Americans need to understand what's happening right now. Most people are still viewing President Trump's foreign policy through the old post-World War II lens. That lens is obsolete. What Trump is attempting is not some minor policy adjustment. It is a complete restructuring of the global economic and geopolitical order. Read that again, he says. For 80 years, America operated under a globalist framework. America paid the bills. America defended everyone. America opened its markets. America carried NATO. America protected shipping lanes. America subsidized allies. America tolerated trade imbalances. America exported democracy while factories disappeared and debt exploded at home. That system enriched multinational corporations, global institutions, foreign economies, and permanent bureaucracies. But millions of Americans watched manufacturing collapse, wages stagnate, communities hollow out, endless wars draining trillions, China rising into a superpower using America's own economic system against itself. President Trump is trying to replace that model with something entirely different. A transactional, America-first economic coalition built around energy, trade, security, manufacturing, and strategic deals. That Truth Social post about the Abraham Accords, it wasn't just some statement. That was the blueprint. If this succeeds, we're looking at the construction of a massive economic security network that could include the United States, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Egypt, Jordan, Israel, Pakistan, Turkey, India, parts of Latin America, and strategic Indo-Pacific partners, and critically, a normalization framework with both China and Russia, where competition still exists, but catastrophic conflict is avoided through economic leverage. It's negotiated spheres of influence, energy coordination, and transactional diplomacy. This is one of the most misunderstood parts of President Trump's geopolitical strategy, he writes. Many Americans think in the Cold War terms, right? America versus Russia, America versus China, permanent hostility, permanent escalation. But President Trump's approach is far more transactional and realist. Basically, you do this, we'll do that, you gain this, we protect that, we work together, right? Instead of trying to ideologically remake the world, the strategy appears focused on preventing direct great power war, reducing the chance of nuclear escalation, using trade leverage instead of permanent military occupation, creating economic interdependence where possible, forcing burden sharing among allies. Not everybody, not one country is going to carry all of the weight like the United States has. It's going to be shared. You're all going to have skin in the game, right? And positioning America as the central negotiating power between rival blocs. Now, that does not mean surrendering to China or to Russia. It means recognizing a reality many in Washington refuse to accept for decades. China is already an economic superpower. Russia remains a military and energy superpower. The question is no longer whether they exist as major powers. The question is whether America can position itself at the center of a new balance of power that benefits Americans instead of endlessly draining American wealth, trying to maintain a fading unipolar system. This is why you're seeing negotiations instead of immediate escalation, energy diplomacy, tariff wars instead of troop surges, pressure campaigns tied to trade access, selective partnerships instead of blind alliances, and attempts to split rival coalitions apart through deals. Trump is essentially trying to create overlapping economic zones where America is no longer carrying the world for free, but instead sits at the center of the world's most powerful deal-making network. Combined economic power, potentially $65 to $75+ trillion in GDP, over half of the global economy. This is about energy dominance, shipping lanes, critical minerals, AI infrastructure, manufacturing chains, food security, military positioning, trade corridors, investment flows, currency leverage, stabilizing relations between major powers where possible, and isolating hostile behavior through leverage instead of endless occupation wars. And younger Americans especially need to understand this part. This directly impacts your future. If America remains trapped in the old system, debt keeps exploding, jobs keep leaving, housing becomes less affordable, wages get crushed by global competition, endless foreign entanglements continue. But if America successfully repositions itself at the center of a new energy, manufacturing, trade coalition, industrial jobs return, energy prices stabilize, strategic industries reshoring accelerates, infrastructure investment increases, supply chains become more secure, and Americans regain leverage instead of bleeding it. It changes everything. It's not normal politics. It is a potential civilizational realignment. And it could have been done years ago if they just let Trump win that second time. Because Joe Biden had a lot of these plans. Oh, that's right. No, he didn't. When we go back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, we have a little anonymous video about hatred. Time to look in the mirror, I guess, next. Such a great post. And if younger Americans do not start paying attention to economics, geopolitics, energy, trade, manufacturing, and global power shifts, they're going to inherit a world they do not understand. That's amazing. It's such a great, great thread. I was like, oh my goodness, I could read for days because he's right. And then think about it, bringing the cost of prescriptions down, blowing up this Affordable Care Act bullcrap, right? Let's then dig into making schools not suck. All of the things this president has his fingertips on. He's got no plan. Okay. You got to have a concussion or a traumatic brain injury if that's what you think. Speaking of, the Simkovich Concussion Institute, 412-366-3700. It's not just for people who've gotten hurt running into a tree or getting crunched on the, soccer pitch or the football field or being in an accident or falling off of the roof. There are a lot of reasons, the reasons why you might want to call 412-366-3700 or go to the SimkovichConcussioninstitute.com. Just SimkovichConcussioninstitute.com, because Dr. Simkovich heals people, and he heals people down to a very basic cellular level with his hands. You're not going to bleed. You're not going to get cut into. There's no surgery. You're not anesthetized. You're not going to be put out. There's not some 5 weeks recovery. You got to move to Pittsburgh. No, you come to Pittsburgh for a week. Come to Pittsburgh for a week and get a rental or what have you. It's going to be the best money you spend, because it's going to put you in position with a man who heals people's brains. I've watched it happen. I know what he does. And I wish I could explain it to you better, but Dr. Simkovich can feel your injury by putting his fingers in your mouth and feeling special parts of your soft palate and pushing in certain areas and pulling and tugging on certain things. And then all of a sudden, that anxiety, the clouds, the tremors, the headaches, the isolation, the darkness, it goes away and you get your life back. I've watched it happen. Write down the number. You don't know when you'll need it, but you want it if you do. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Gotta crack my back. Ooh. I haven't gone to the bathroom yet, Brock.
Neither have I.
You haven't? No, you're right. I haven't seen you leave. Why? What are you doing? Sitting there being surly, grumpy, stewing. I don't know. I have no idea. All right. Hi. Who did I say sent me that? Oh my God. I made such a mess.
After they finally
I know.
vacuumed.
Literally, we've been in the studio for how many years? 3? And I don't think our thing has been vacuumed
I think
once.
it's been vacuumed 3 times.
So gross. Why do you say 3?
Because it was done, and then you asked Jason about it. And you remember he did it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's great. I am as guilty as the next person. It's hard to look, and I know a fraction of what this president is trying to accomplish. I don't have a clue in the world what his ultimate bucket list end game is, but he talks about a golden age. And he doesn't just talk about a golden age for America. You know, when we're not stressed out about every single fill up or every single mortgage payment or every single thing that crosses us, that costs us money, we're not going to be stressed about that, he says. There is the dawn of a golden age of unbelievable prosperity that is on the cusp of being unleashed. And his travels around the world, he shares those stories. He shared that story with King Charles when he and Camilla came to the White House. He shared it with all of the Middle Eastern states when he was countries when he was out doing his tour in the first year of his second term. He invites everybody to join in the ride. He's like, look to Zelensky in Ukraine. We can work together. You have rare earth minerals. We need those for these AI processing centers that we're wanting to build. But you also need infrastructure. Russia has bombed the bejabbers out of you, and you need help rebuilding. Why don't you partner with us? Let's work together. He said the same thing to Russia. Hey, Putin, you know, there are things that we can do together to the mutual benefit of both of our countries. The reality is he doesn't want anybody in the shadows being like, yes, I'm going to sign on to the plan, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to do this other thing. I'll be in charge. He's like, no, look, enough with the nefarious, like, you know, maniacal laugh guy. Is everybody done with dying and starving and needing? Because we don't have to live like this. Anonymous from Deepfake Quotes on X did a great video, and we snagged a part of it, the first minute. And he talks about hate and how I think it's easy to hate what you don't know. But he says, you know, when you have, all you have to run on is hate, people aren't going to buy what you're selling because hate usually arrives disguised as righteousness. And haven't we seen that a lot? Listen.
There's a lot of hate percolating right now, and maybe before we point fingers at everyone else, we should ask ourselves some uncomfortable questions. Are you becoming a hateful person? Can you honestly examine the words you use online and the pleasure you may be taking in cruelty, humiliation, and dehumanization? Do you care how your words affect other human beings? Can you acknowledge when you are wrong? Can you acknowledge when someone you dislike is right? Have you become emotionally addicted to outrage? Has ideology replaced empathy? Can you still see human beings, or only enemies? History shows that hatred rarely announces itself honestly. It usually arrives disguised as righteousness. And maybe the most important question is this: can you honestly say your heart is still full of love? My friends, we are all anonymous.
I surely think that he's talking to Democrats a lot there. The party of joy, the party of love, which is, it's so ridiculous and it's unsellable. Nobody's buying that garbage. I don't think this president hates. I think what he is frustrated by the lack of speed with which his overall agenda is moving. And I'm not just talking about here in the Senate where we're waiting for the Save America Act to actually happen. But he sees something that's bigger and better and doable. It's buildable. It's possible. And I'll say, whether or not we get to see the fruits of his labor, I'll tell you what, it's been one hell of a ride already. Godspeed, Mr. President. I'm on your side. Let's go, Texas. Paxton. We'll see you tomorrow right here. Same time, same place. Love you guys. Peace.